Let's dive in together. We are dropping into the abyss of the end, a massive post-nuclear wasteland game where everything wants you dead. Humanity's last hope, genetically engineered super soldiers whose only job is to absolutely wipe out the mutant hordes up top. Even high-level players are just doing boring daily monster grinds at least, until the devs suddenly drop a massive new server event. It throws players into an insanely dangerous abyss dungeon where even the highest-ranked pros cannot survive one single hour. The rewards are insane, but just showing up is pure suicide. One unlucky player quickly realizes the rumored boss is actually way worse. Minor detail, that giant monster is just a pet. Then a crazy new crew rolls up riding a freaking Cerberus. Their boss, Zhang Fanggu, calls the players absolute lunatics, then instantly decides it is time for full massacre mode. This dude just blitzes everyone in a total wipeout. He is completely loving it casually, calling it a wave of free kills. His squad shows up mad he stole the kills, while Laria complains they ruined her afternoon tea. Hey, priorities, people. She loudly declares these guys deserve to be beaten down repeatedly. The last guy suggests eating players to recharge, sparking a weird debate on player farming. Some want to feast, others just want to play. Let's pause right here. Zhang Fanggu decides to casually wipe out every top player, but then suddenly hits an existential crisis. Wait, is he the villain? Flashback time, back to when he was literally just a normal college student. By normal, I mean getting cornered for lunch money by cheap bullies led by a red-haired guy trying way too hard. He gets right in Zhang Fanggu's face, begging for a fight before instantly getting distracted by girls walking past. Real genius level. Except one is a teacher who threatens to send them straight to the hospital. The goons quickly realize they messed with some seriously connected people. They tuck tail and run, promising classic revenge, while the teacher asks Zhang Fanggu why he never fought back. Our boy just smiles calmly, asking what they need just as another friend runs up, super relieved he is safe. And finally, pink-haired Yuding arrives since she was the one who called for backup. Zhang Fanggu gives her a gentle head pat as thanks. She blushes hard, completely convinced he is the absolute kindest. Her internal thoughts, though, a highly detailed plan to stab those bullies. Yikes. He stays totally blind to her homicidal loyalty, laughing it off while she reminds him they need to game hard for money. His rich friend casually offers to pay for the bills, but Zhang Fanggu cheerfully turns her down. He shouts back that he will handle the money himself, leaving her stunned. The teacher then scolds Yuding for her super aggressive recruitment tactics. She admits she just wants his insane gaming skills, convinced he can lead them through the abyss, even comparing his control to the top server legend Rebellion Kid. You saw this coming, right? She actually claims he is stronger than that legend. With that, the girls run off super hyped for more dungeon grinds. Back in reality, Zhang Fanggu calculates surgery costs. Calling his mom, he promises to find the money, flashing back to his dad's awful accident and crushing debt. He has been grinding part-time jobs for months, just hoping this next payout finally gives his family actual breathing room. Staring at his VR headset, he really misses the escape of the game, so he logs in. Seeing the login for his low-level alt, he hesitates for a second, feeling slightly guilty before loading up his real account, the level 99 Rebellion Kid. In a massive flash, the legend drops back online. Yep, our boy Zhang Fanggu is secretly the top player on the entire server. Rebellion Kid is level 99 with perfectly maxed stats. He only made that low-level alt so his friends would not know he is literally number one, because honestly, he is pretty sure they would absolutely murder him if they ever found out. After half a year offline, a new message pops up. It is a welcome back challenge offering a ridiculously massive cash prize. His first thought, definitely a phishing scam. Like, who just gives away free money nowadays? But remembering his dad's massive medical bills, the crazy risk suddenly seems completely worth it. With nothing left to lose, he smashes yes. Suddenly, a massive energy bolt zaps him, dissolving his character into raw data and pulling him straight into the abyss. He wakes up in some creepy vine-covered room, totally confused, and touches his face. He feels things now, sparking that classic question. You and I need to see this. You and I are about to see the craziest isekai update ever. Glowing purple eyes, definitely not a normal feature. One look in the mirror confirms his absolute worst nightmare. He is literally a freaking zombie kid. Then the system cheerfully drops the news. He is a low-class rottling larva working for the villain faction, complete with pathetic level 1 stats. Talk about a massive downgrade. Turns out the new humans up on the surface have been totally wiping out the entire mutant population. So now his brand new job is fighting for monster survival against actual players. Zhang Fanggu is just standing there speechless. The entire game alignment completely flipped upside down while he was offline. Absolute panic mode. He is a squishy little monster in a world of players packing rocket launchers, and then, the system drops a massive bomb. He is stuck here until he saves the entire wasteland, and his dad is literally in surgery right now. But wait, there is a catch. If he wins, he travels back to the exact same moment, keeping all that loot and power. Our boy starts connecting the dots. This game feels way too real for comfort, and the horrifying truth finally hits him hard. He got isekai'd into a real post-apocalyptic world. First quest, kill a level 32 monster. Just a super casual warm-up for a level 1 larva, right? He completely loses his mind. That level gap is straight up suicide, plus he is supposed to save mutants by literally killing them. A handy rulebook pops up. Mutants he kills just respawn. Player kills are permanent. Basically, he gets a super convenient infinite XP farm. And apparently beating the crap out of fellow mutants makes them respect him. Now that is a management style he totally supports. You and I better watch closely. Take the suicide mission or get deleted. A quick flashback to his dad in the hospital hits him hard. Stakes are high. Motivated Zhang Fanggu completely steals his resolve for that prize money. Remembering his absolute glory days as the #1 server player, he gets hyped. Time for a brand new challenge on the villain side. To a legendary pro like him, this is no death trap. This is a massive adrenaline rush, and he is completely in. Tossing out a sarcastic good luck, the system boots him into a wrecked abandoned building to survive alone. He notices it is peak gaming hours, but not a single player is anywhere nearby. Checking the environment, he realizes he is deep underground in a crazy high-level zone called the Abyss of the End. Finding powerful reavers nearby instantly confirms his terrifying location. Just look at the Abyss, once a super high-tech human shelter, now totally overrun by hordes of terrifying monsters. Once humanity ran to the surface, these giant underground cities morphed into the ultimate breeding ground for the mutant faction. Zhang Fanggu quickly deduces this abyss runs purely on survival of the fittest. Even the front door is completely crawling with high-level reavers, the other zones, basically absolute hell mode death traps for normal players. Tapping into his veteran game knowledge, he spots elite monsters everywhere. He used to clear this place fully geared, a massive joke compared to his squishy self now. The absolute horror of being a level 1 larva in a max-level zone truly hits him. Then a massive shadow monster with glowing red eyes suddenly spawns right behind him. Nowhere to run. So you and I know what comes next. He switches straight into pro gamer mode. Suddenly, boom, a high-heeled foot smashes down nearby, loudly announcing a new arrival. A level 55 female reaver, a monster variant he has never even seen before. Instantly, she locks eyes on another deadly creature lurking in the ruined shadows, and she is absolutely furious about having company. Her main target, a level 48 stalker, which is another completely new female variant. Zhang Fanggu realizes they are straight up fighting for territory, not just hunting. This reaver is definitely not following some basic patrol AI. She is a fully thinking, sentient creature, way smarter and incredibly deadlier than anything he ever fought in the old game. But our boy instantly spots an opportunity in this brand new complex behavior. The reaver completely overpowers her rival. The stalker's HP drops straight to 0, ending the brutal fight in an absolute flash. So Zhang Fanggu casually summons a mini-bike and taunts the victor. Time for some absolute chaos. The reaver completely loses her mind. Roaring in pure rage, she goes into hot pursuit, chasing our tiny gremlin, riding a ridiculous tricycle. Zhang Fanggu knows his speed is a total joke against her giant strides. So his master plan A, special delivery, baiting her exactly where he wants her to go. Click, her fancy heel hits the trigger plate absolutely perfectly. Boom, he springs his little surprise trap instantly, sending her plummeting straight down into a massive hidden pit. Game devs always hide the absolute deadliest traps inside these safe spots. And right now, that means a giant, furious nest of paralysis wasps. A quick scan reveals level 45 bugs with a nasty venom shock ability. Sitting safely above Zhang Fanggu, smugly wishes her a super fun torture session. The reaver immediately gets swarmed, ruthlessly zapped by paralyzing stings. But our boy knows this trap will not actually kill her. Instead of panicking, she literally just starts eating the wasps. What an absolute power move. So what do you and I bet happens? He figures paralysis drains half her health. Alright, stick with me because phase 2 is absolute madness. Her HP is dropping fast, debuffs are stacking up. A quick whistle summons cute puppies, but wait. One of them instantly transforms into a giant snarling monster, Shiba. So Zhang Fanggu just hops right on, grabbing it tightly by the scruff. And now he is charging into battle on a corgi ready to finish this. Zhang Fanggu unleashes a wild dog bash straight into the reaver. She is down to her last HP, completely stunned and paralyzed. Perched on his epic battle Shiba, he declares game over. He leaps high into the air for a dramatic finishing blow, slamming a metal pipe right onto her skull. A system pop-up confirms the target is officially wiped out. He gives his new zombie pup Wangzai a well-deserved head pat. Our boy remembers zombies and dogs naturally bond in this world. So relieved he is actually on the good boy team this time, the little zombie kid and his giant monster dog are officially partners. Zhang Fanggu totally admits his squishy little larva body could never have won this fight alone. Mission complete. A massive level-up screen pops up, evolving our guy from a larva to a juvenile. and he unlocks a new shapeshift skill granting a pretty cool humanish look. Sharp claws are still included, but the real prize, the Reaver he just defeated, is now his loyal servant. Zhang Fenggu is completely baffled by this game's crazy reward system. His focus shifts to the gold, realizing he can cash it out for his dad. Then the system dangles the next huge reward base construction. Finishing the mission officially unlocks a secret base, the Hope Citadel, and instantly he and his dog are teleported straight to the new location. Zhang Fenggu lands hard, completely disoriented by the teleport. But pay attention here, something just clicked. He is staring at the legendary Hope Citadel, a place that was only game lore. A quick history lesson shows this was humanity's last safe zone before everything went bad. It eventually fell, becoming the monster-infested abyss he just survived. The system confirms this massive fixer-upper is his personal base, with upgrades pending, promising it will become the ultimate mutant stronghold under his command. Plus, the final mission reward is waiting inside. He is still totally suspicious of this prize until Wang Zai picks up a scent, leading Zhang Fenggu to a crazy discovery that leaves him absolutely speechless. The grand prize is a girl floating unconscious inside a giant test tube. Our boy loses it, calling out the system for its shameless rewards. Meanwhile, back in the real world, one of his gamer friends is just chilling in her messy room after a sweaty workout. She glances at an old guild photo, spotting Zhang Fenggu's alt account before she decides to strap her headset on and log back into the game. Her character, Little Yoyu, spawns right into the gleaming player hub known as New Eden, walking through crowded streets, literally a whole world away from Zhang Fenggu's wasteland. Suddenly she freezes. You and I both know that feeling, right? Staring at a quest board practically begging players to go hunt. Little Yoyu feels super nostalgic, wishing her old friend was still around, remembering the good days with her guild and Zhang Fenggu's alt, and she is practically drooling over virtual food, crying that her personal loot grinder is gone. Right on cue, a pop-up offers a real taste experience of in-game food, a free gameplay test that sounds way too good. Back in the wasteland, Zhang Fenggu reveals this is exactly how the system trapped him. Thinking back on his old teammates, basically a bunch of total sweethearts, he figures the easiest one to trick is the massive foodie zoo. His master plan started 10 minutes ago, asking the system how to get a pilot for his new test tube girl. Turns out she is just an empty shell needing a player's consciousness. But the huge catch, that player gets trapped until the final mission is totally done. Zhang Fenggu absolutely freaks out. He does not want to drag anybody else into his hell. Until the system clarifies their real body is safe. Their mind just gets iced, and they will return to their exact moment in time. That makes him feel way better. The system then dangles another totally shameless reward, promising a massive zombie army, which is so completely over the top, our boy gets a nosebleed and yells to progress the plot. So he sits down to scheme, figuring out how to bait his friend. And then boom, the invite gets accepted. He is completely stunned that tricking a hungry foodie was actually that simple. Just like that, Little Yoyu's consciousness links to the female zombie. She materializes in the tube, totally amazed by the game's insane new realism. And Zhang Fenggu greets her from a very strategic camera angle, happily welcoming her to the team. The reality hits hard when she realizes she is now a zombie child. So what do you and I expect? Pure chaos. She screams, launches out of the tank, and attacks the kid who tricked her. Alright, let's dive right into this insane fight. Zhang Fenggu casually backflips over her attack, landing perfectly behind her untouched. Yoyu is totally stunned by his insane speed. But ignoring his desperate pleas to wait, she winds up for another furious punch. So our boy simply activates his brand new shape-shifting skill. With a cocky grin, his arm twists into this gnarly purple blade shield, bracing for impact. Boom! Her attack smashes right into the shield. It completely stonewalls her, sending her flying backward from the sheer force of his block. A system message confirms he unlocked a will-based transformation skill, turning any body part into a weapon. Standing over her, he smugly tells her to look at herself. She turns around, spotting the empty test tube she just escaped from. Her reflection confirms the awful truth. She is a literal zombie now. The shock sets in as she stares at her totally unhuman body. Zhang Fenggu just extends a hand, claiming this ruined city as their base and her as his very first recruit. His master recruitment pitch, a completely tragic sob story about the struggling mutant clan, but the absolute clincher was promising free food. A bribe she simply could not refuse. The system rewards him for tricking a player with gold and some highly cultured outfits. Plus a new quest drops demanding he get her dressed in one. Now get this. He knows the system is degenerate, but it swears the outfits boost combat power. So he presents the special gear as an absolutely vital tool for their glorious mutant revolution. Yoyu, being a true gamer, gets hyped for a new costume and agrees instantly. After equipping the schoolgirl uniform, she immediately feels that promised power-up. Zhang Fenggu gives a smug thumbs up. His brand new soldier is shaping up very nicely. Completing the quest gets him a pathetic 5 gold, but it boosts her affection, teasing a future fusion skill. She still thinks he is just a super realistic game character. Meanwhile, our boy is internally panicking right until a very real hunger pang suddenly hits her. That definitely should not happen inside a game. But right on cue, Zhang Fenggu offers her some local cuisine, raider tentacle skewers. The smell is so incredibly good she is instantly ready to devour her first mutant clan meal. She absolutely demolishes the food using this terrifyingly long tongue. Yeah, zombie table manners really need some work. Our boy begs her to share, but her brand new food guarding instincts are way too intense. Suddenly a strange jolt of power courses through her body. Sharp red appendages burst right out of her back, catching her completely by surprise. A system window confirms that Snack just triggered a forced evolution, granting her a sick new tentacle strike ability. Now she stands there with monstrous new limbs, wondering what the heck just happened. But Zhang Fenggu connects the dots. Eating specific monsters gives zombies new skills. The system confirms Yu has a special foodie build for rapid growth, making him instantly heavily jealous. Thanks to helping her evolve, a brand new quest drops. Conquer a zombie nest and defeat its current lord. Their destination: a massive, sprawling, overgrown ruin. It is a whole new biome. They arrive at the zombie nest, a creepy forest growing right through the city. Apparently, the outskirts act like a zombie food court completely littered with gross leftovers from animal kills. Inside is a surprisingly organized zombie clan, not just mindless wanderers. They are even lining up for mealtime, which is bizarrely civilized for the undead. A butcher zombie with a chainsaw carves fresh kills while nurse zombies assist him. This is an entire society. Can you believe this? They are literally farming a captured human woman for nutrition. The boss is a former human researcher turned zombie getting some seriously twisted revenge. As the new kid Zhang Fenggu gets shoved into line for his turn at the milk bottle, he is forced to chug the stuff, looking absolutely completely mortified by the entire traumatic experience. A system pop-up reveals it boosted his intelligence, explaining the smarts of this clan. Suddenly, a tall female zombie grabs him. She demands to know what he is doing, pointing out he is a teenager and way too old for the baby food line. Dodging that awkward bullet, he spots Yu patiently waiting for her proper meat ration, feeling a little bit relieved. Just then, a massive announcement echoes through the nest. The Lord is back. Giant gates creak open as two hulking zombies pull heavy chains, and their quest target, the zombie lord, makes her grand, terrifying entrance riding a monstrous beast. This zombie lord and her lieutenants are a seriously intimidating crew. The system confirms these are definitely not basic game mobs. They are real, one-of-a-kind beings, which Zhang Fenggu quickly connects to those weird numbered tattoos. He realizes this is a full-blown faction war kicking off a massive lore dump about the Hope Citadel's secret genetics lab. Scientists tried curing mutation here, but only made the zombies way more violent. It led to a catastrophic breakout that took the lead researcher down with it. They blamed male hormones and tortured female subjects, leaving a 0-3 chained up and pumped full of who knows what. Trust me, you and I need to see what happens next. Stick with me, it gets worse. They did live dissections on her, stitching zombies to other monsters in completely sick fusion experiments. But all those failures accidentally created a super serum. The result: insanely strong humans completely immune to the zombie virus. That birthed an elite strike team called the New Humans. Their very first mission was simple: hunt down and wipe out every single mutant abomination. But they completely missed one crucial detail. The lead researcher, now zombie S0000, got a dose too. She became the first zombie to evolve human intelligence, remembering every single horror she survived. All that bottled up trauma and pure rage triggered a monstrous transformation, snapping her chains. She devoured the other zombies, crowning herself the lab's new master. So, the New Humans deployed to take her down. Watch closely, this sparks an all-out war. But even those elite super soldiers got completely wrecked by the original vengeful zombie lord. Her rage-fueled evolution. Yeah, it was just getting started. The New Humans could not land a single decent hit on her. Why? Because all the other escaped mutant experiments got a taste of that super serum too. This forced the surviving humans to just nuke the entire city and desperately retreat. After the blast, the zombie lord vanished into the wasteland like a total ghost. Zhang Fenggu processes this crazy lore dump. He realizes humanity's official history is totally fake and finally spots the crucial difference here. Unlike the game's basic mobs, these zombies can evolve. Suddenly, his internal monologue gets cut short. Oh no, he has been spotted. A winged lieutenant looms over him, calling him out for that creepy, scheming smile. She gets right up in his face, threatening to gouge his eyes out for acting human. But boom, a red tentacle whips past her. Lieutenant S01 whirls around, completely caught off guard. It is little Yu swooping in with her brand new limbs to defend her NPC friend. But instead of a fight breaking out, S01 is seriously impressed by her fierce loyalty and upgrades. Then the zombie lord herself drops in, congratulating her Lieutenant Li Ying on a flawless job. She explains their special diet is basically supercharging the new generation's evolution. Then she announces the next phase, a brutal mandatory survival training exercise. Zhang Fanggu sighs in relief. Yu's bold entrance just scored them some massive street cred. A super creepy bug-eyed zombie breaks down the rules a month-long death game in the forest. Our boy stares deep into the woods, realizing this survival test is locked on absolute hell mode. One lieutenant questions the Lord, pointing out the insane 90% mortality rate. The Lord immediately shuts her down. Are you seriously questioning my orders? She drops the grim logic. Surviving this death game beats getting captured by the new humans. That is just a polite way of saying they will use you as a living battery. Meanwhile, over in a completely different plotline, this lightning-powered guy is raging about a kidnapped doctor. While this ghost eye sniper will not stop whining about his vision skill being completely useless now, elsewhere, another faction leader rocking a massive chainsaw sword notes the zombies are evolving way too fast. So naturally, the sniper guy immediately tries to pick a fight with her. Classic ego. She casually parries his strike, laughing right in his face for being so easily triggered. Now, dual-wielding giant chainsaws, she is absolutely ready to throw down. But their little turf war suddenly gets cut short by a massive metal fist. This absolute unit named Iron Man breaks it up loudly, reminding everyone that death here is permanent. The rebellious guy in gold armor backs him up. Turns out this is a whole council of top players, and their leader sitting on a skull throne. He just confirms world domination is the official agenda. Back with Zhang Fanggu, he realizes the captive woman is actually a fellow player. The zombies were actually smart enough to blind her, but a wider shot reveals something way darker. The captive is pregnant. I know what you're thinking, that is a massive game logic error. Pregnancy is not a game feature at all, and why can't she just log out? Then it clicks. Zhang Fanggu realizes this captive player could be incredibly useful. Once the Lord dips, the zombies get herded off to begin their brutal new game, no more free lunch. The winged lieutenant steps up, laying down the law for their upcoming survival test. She gives a rapid rundown of the month-long death trap inside the spooky forest. Her final, insanely ominous warning. Whatever you do, stay far away from the center. Zhang Fanggu complains instantly. They got absolutely zero survival tips, just a one-way ticket straight to the afterlife. Suddenly, this random new kid pops up, completely invading their personal space. He introduces himself as Li Baba, a martial artist back before he well died. He wants to team up, but Zhang Fanggu hits him with the classic anti-social defense. Honestly, he just doesn't want to split Yu's precious food supply with some total stranger. But this kid practically reads his mind, swearing up and down he won't drag them down. He reveals a petrification skill. That is a solid resume builder, and trust me, we are just getting started. Stick with me here. Our boy just realized this newbie makes the perfect tank. He says yes, instantly crowns himself captain, and the kid just completely goes with it. But as Zhang Fanggu tries to lead a serious strategy meeting, absolutely nobody is paying attention. Boom. The system tosses him 250 gold just for making a friend. Classic game logic. Meanwhile, a rival zombie squad swaggers in. The overly cocky leader tells his panicking crew to relax right before a massive tongue instantly yanks away one of his girls. Surprise. This outer forest belongs to an absolutely gigantic mutant frog. Bait set by other players. That cocky squad gets completely wiped out in flat seconds. Just a fast food snack for the wildlife. Now that is one savage welcome party. The map drops a truth bomb. This entire zone is a multi-level death trap, starting with feeding grounds. Zhang Fanggu breaks down the survival rules. Zone 2, weaklings become lunch, right as a freakish lizard shark starts chasing them. They catch their breath in Zone 3, surviving, mostly because way bigger, scarier apex predators live right next door. And sitting right at the top of this nightmare, watch closely, it is the legendary multi-headed King of Thorns. Scaling a giant tree, our guy realizes this insane forest is straight up unreleased DLC content. Even for pros. Smart move here. They stick to the high branches because the ground below is literally a river of hungry shadows. Safety found. Training montage activated. Li Baba starts by absolutely crushing a giant mutant rat. Then Yu jumps in, whipping her new tentacles to casually shred a terrifying piranha beast. Flexing his own power, Zhang Fanggu summons his psychic blades to completely obliterate a mutated porcupine. The grind pays off. The system drops cash, some very sketchy gourmet food, and a sick new spike combat attribute. Warm-up complete. Time to level up the targets. They instantly switch to hunting a massive raging mutant ape. Their synergy is actually insane right now. A perfectly timed three-way strike hits the monster hard. One final heavy combined push and the colossal ape hits the dirt. Game over. Sweet loot drops again. He unlocks a gigantification skill, because naturally our guy needs more overpowered moves. The daytime grind was flawless, but fighting nighttime monsters, absolutely horrible idea. Around the campfire, the squad is just left speechless by Zhang Fanggu's random 5-star chef skills. Li Baba straight up assumes it is stolen technology, and Zhang Fanggu just nods along. Way easier than trying to explain the system. That weird foodie buff activates for Yu. Her tentacles suddenly mutate, sprouting an absolutely terrifying amount of hungry new mouths. Not missing out, Lee Baba gets a post-dinner buff too. He glows bright as his epic petrification skill levels up. He immediately tests his upgrade out, slamming his fist down and leaving a massive crater. Talk about a destructive jump. Safe inside their cave, Zhang Fanggu literally feels his internal power surging as the new squad chills after an insanely productive day. He takes a breather, suddenly noticing something weird. Where did his level and stats go? I know what you are thinking. A bug, nope. The system says welcome to the real world. No game numbers. This proves his theory. 0 level caps means his growth potential is literally infinite now. He is busy testing that cool new spike attribute, feeling totally invincible. But then, a giant mutant mosquito woman dives in, trying to skewer him with a way bigger spike. Mid-dodge, the crazy system drops an urgent new mission. Solo, a deadly flame tiger before the sun comes up. Turns out this monster evolved a humanoid shape strictly to bait its prey. That is a seriously horrifying IQ upgrade. Highly annoyed by the awful timing, he figures hunting a tiger is the ultimate test for his brand new skills. So relying on the map he memorized, he blitzes through the pitch-black deadly forest. A few smooth parkour flips later, he drops right into the target's absolute danger zone. He tracks down the flame tiger's den, a giant, sweltering cave radiating intense heat. Yeah, this fight is going to get noisy. The beast emerges. But wait, it is literally double the size he remembers from the original game. Reality check. In the real world, monsters can evolve and mutate too. The tiger's speed is completely off the charts, forcing our guy into hard defense mode instantly. Boom. Their very first strike creates a massive shockwave, proving this apex predator is on a completely different level. His razor-sharp psychic blades bounce right off its thick hide. Okay, that is a huge problem. Time to switch tactics. He channels his energy, mutating his own arms into massive, deadly bladed weapons. Then he triggers gigantification. His claws expand into literal building-sized shears. We get an epic monster movie stare-down right before the crash. Zhang Fanggu swings those colossal blades down, landing a totally devastating scissor strike right onto the flaming beast's head. The heavy hit connects perfectly, turning the whole cave into a giant fiery explosion. But when the smoke clears, the tiger is standing barely annoyed about its singed fur. Worse, those wounds are already regenerating. The burnt flesh just knits back together instantly. Now it is glowing with pure rage. Trust me, you want to see this. Let's dive right in. Zhang Fanggu gets blasted back. This beast's healing factor totally broken. The tiger just smirks like, yeah, it is my turn now. But right before he completely gives up, our guy remembers he has one final trick hidden up his sleeve. He funnels every last drop of energy into a desperate strike. Using his new elasticity skill, he morphs his entire arm into a spinning psychic drill. He fires that drill straight at the massive monster head, and against all odds it works. Quest complete, he scores a massive loot drop, including beast tongue. So now he can totally get lectured by animals right before he kills them. He lets out a huge sigh of relief. Finally, time to chill after an insanely stressful solo boss run. Yeah, that piece lasts maybe 2 seconds before the whole cave starts caving in right on top of him. A claw the size of a literal truck smashes through the ceiling. Turns out he did not just slay a random beast. He killed the kid, and mom and dad are home. The entire tiger clan just pulled up for a little chat about what he did to their precious son. Papa Tiger charges up a massive revenge fireball to end this conversation fast. But right as he fires, another tiger suddenly leaps into the mix. She screams she will save him by brutally impaling him right through the back. Honestly, a very questionable rescue tactic. This family reunion gets super awkward when the new tiger instantly backstabs and attacks the older one. Zhang Fanggu just watches the chaos unfold, standing there wondering how many more boss fights are scheduled for today. He is honestly just annoyed he has to ruin such valuable monster parts to finish the mission. A true capitalist at heart. Now pay attention here, because he is facing down a trio of elemental tiger gods: fire, ice, and lightning. Out of nowhere, another white-haired guy swinging a giant blade crashes the party. He summons a massive tentacle-wrapped rock wall, completely splitting the battlefield in half. With the humans boxed out, the lightning and ice tigers go straight back to trying to totally murder each other. Their epic clash completely shatters the ground beneath them in a blinding flash of light. Both beasts get sent flying backward by the sheer raw power of their own attacks. These two are totally stunned, having absolutely zero clue what is even happening anymore. Looking down, Zhang Fanggu smirks, revealing this was his master plan. He literally calls them ingredients for his hot pot. And just like that, boom, a massive loot drop. He absorbs their thunder, ice, and metal attributes all at once. His skill tree is officially ridiculous now, with more add-ons than a fast food order. 1 month passes, and our squad has clearly mastered surviving this killer forest. Meanwhile, back at the entrance, the silver-haired lieutenant is completely convinced every single zombie got wiped out. Her winged partner completely agrees, admitting she lost all hope for those two little brats ages ago. She even remembers this weird vision of Yo-Yu and her true form but brushes it off as absolutely nothing. At that exact second, Yo-Yu snaps awake. She senses a crazy, powerful presence deep in the woods. The lieutenants feel it too, wondering if a survivor is actually coming. It is Yo-Yu all right, except she just had a massive evolution and is now officially classified as a T02 model. You feel that shift right. Yo-Yu senses an aura so overwhelming it literally paralyzes you with fear. And her brand new, terrifyingly elegant final form is on full glorious display. This is enough to actually startle the normally unflappable Lieutenant Xiu. Her crew is super confused, wondering what could possibly rattle their boss. Another lieutenant, a heavy brawler type, spots movement in the forest. Something massive is carving a path of absolute destruction straight through the trees. A giant, spiky, draconic body explodes right out of the ground. It is the legendary King of Thorns, and it brought the entire monster horde with it. But the lieutenants quickly realize this is not a blind rampage. It is actually a highly organized procession. Xiu connects the dots with a huge smirk. They are literally escorting their new king home. Riding on the back of this final boss is our squad leading a literal army of monsters. Zhang Fenggu looks like he was born for the job, totally shocking everyone. These lieutenants cannot believe it straight up, admitting they completely underestimated the rookies. And now Xiu is officially super intrigued by this extremely promising little punk. So intrigued, she decides to fly down and test the new king herself. She charges up a massive attack, diving straight down for the dragon head. But the Thorn King charges right back, ready to defend its new master. Then Li Baba leaps off to intercept, eager to show off his crazy one-month grind. He unleashes a fully powered petrification fist, firing off an absolute cannon of an attack. She meets it head-on with a fiery counter. Impressed, he leveled up so fast, Xiu easily swats his punch away, mocking that he is nowhere near her tier yet. Their insane clash erupts into a massive pillar of light, completely tearing the ground apart. The impact leaves Li Baba face down in a smoking crater looking like some half-finished statue. Before she can even gloat, Yo-Yu dives in with a furious assault. Her tentacles lash out and the lieutenant instantly notes she is way faster than the last guy. Yo-Yu unleashes a full power energy blast, screaming it is unforgivable. So what do we make of this? Never mess with a girl's friends. Alright, let's dive right in. The attack actually hits, trapping Xiao Yu in a spiky purple cocoon, while Yo-Yo just stares thinking it was that easy. We even get this adorable little chibi fantasy of her just happily playing with her brand new cocoon toy. But nope, the shell instantly shatters. Out comes a way more demonic lieutenant flashing a smug little smirk. She is not impressed at all. She fires back with a hypnotic sound wave, totally mocking Yo-Yo for having zero strategy, knocking her out completely cold, catching her midair for a mandatory nap. Right on cue, Zhang Fenggu steps up. Rocking a brand new dragon form, he blocks her path and grabs the unconscious girl. He mentions he was waiting his turn, gently placing Yo-Yo by Li Baba, glad the hit was not too hard. Distractions over. She grins ready for the main event. Zhang Fenggu powers up his aura, absolutely exploding with intense purple energy. Now, in full monster mode, she tells him to go all out. The real test begins right now. Xiao Yu suggests they change locations for this brawl, and our boy is completely down. They zip through the sky so fast the others cannot even track them, just a wild, chaotic blur of purple and red energy everywhere. Every hit triggers huge shockwaves. Now pay attention, she smirks, announcing the warm-up is officially over. She completely drops her Hell Demon seal. Things just got extremely serious and way more spiky. Her body transforms into this massive, towering, demonic powerhouse, literally crackling with insane raw energy. Unleashing the power of the night, she triggers a massive explosion that probably broke a seismograph. Smirking, she admits he has potential. But first, he needs a brutal beatdown to learn his place. But Zhang Fenggu just catches her giant fist with one single hand. She has got this entirely wrong. He is definitely not her student. He blasts her backward with a huge energy beam, sending her crashing straight headfirst into the dirt. Not a great look for a boss. Our boy just looms over her eyes, glowing, totally ready to teach his own painful lesson. His aura flares into a giant shadow of pure raw power. He is absolutely no follower. He is the leader. Unleashing dragon power, he shows off his brand new Thorn Dragon King armor. A whole month of brutal training is finally about to pay off in one single devastating strike. He fires a massive dragon roar, blasting pure draconic energy. Xiao Yu recognizes it instantly, realizing he is using the actual Thorn King power. She is totally floored. How on earth is this kid using her own power against her? Just like that, the mighty boss drops to her knees, admitting defeat. Zhang Fenggu powers down, saying she will be a total monster someday, but today is just not her day. Then he pulls the ultimate flex. He literally offers her a job as his brand new commander. She is absolutely furious, insisting she only lost because her guard was down. Yeah, right, very believable. You saw this coming, right? He smirks, claiming he only used 10% of his power. That fact completely shatters her. It hits so hard that her scary demon form literally poofs away, leaving a tiny, adorable chibi version. Checking his status quickly proves his skill list is officially ridiculous. He scoops up the tiny boss, who now thinks he is some magical zombie. This sparks a tragic flashback. Her old leader forced her to lead while the little demon Zofu begged not to be left completely alone. But the woman coldly walked away, completely forcing the heavy leadership role onto her shoulders. In the present, Zofu realizes this powerful new guy could finally give them a real fighting chance. So she formally bows, asking the new lord to please lead them. The system instantly makes it official. He is the new zombie lord. Business settled, she asks, the absolute million-dollar question. How did he beat the thorn dragon? Zhang Fanggu just grumbles that the whole thing was a stupid system setup. Flashback time. Beating the tiger family scored him an absolute mountain of loot boxes and crazy new skills. Then the system triggered a hidden quest to kill a dragon in 24 hours. Typical. But his secret weapon was not pure skill. It was pure gacha luck from a loot box, a massive stack of clone cards. To beat that dragon, he just ripped open all 6 blind boxes at once. Boom, he instantly summoned an entire squad of himself ready for war. Facing that beast, he admits one of him would get absolutely destroyed. But 7 of him, completely different story. Decked in draconic armor, his clone army prepares for the ultimate beatdown. Turns out he works perfectly with himself, dropping a flawlessly coordinated attack. Who knew? With the dragon distracted, Yo-Yo and Libaba jumped straight in to wrap things up fast. But right at the critical moment, his clones started despawning. Their time limit was officially up. What do you and I learn from this classic anime logic? Libaba yells, "Boss, use me as a weapon." Even the bird joins in. Let us jump right back into the madness as Zhang Fanggu uses a massive stone golem like a living hammer. One absolutely earth-shattering swing, and he knocks that giant dragon out cold. The system declares him the ultimate winner, handing over full control of the Thorn King and its forest. The defeated dragon actually pledges loyalty, joining the squad. Cut to the present, he casually tells Shio they totally hit it off as besties. Talk about an understatement. Meanwhile, in a creepy industrial complex, a hulking zombie is gently feeding a tiny blue bird, but that sweet, quiet moment gets ruined by armed women, dropping straight from the ceiling. The bird panics as intruders blast its giant friend right in the face. Absolute chaos breaks out, and the squad easily wrecks the slow zombies. Their leader stands over the bodies, calling them pathetic garbage, revealing they are actually hunting an undercover agent. This squad leader stares down a fist the size of a car, looking totally unfazed. The giant zombie roars about being starving, terrible news for everyone, and promptly takes a massive bite out of a squad member. One zeroed out, and the beast is already eyeing her as the main course. But she is way too fast, dodging a massive slam. Her fancy high-tech weapons are basically just tickle machines against this brute. Time for Plan B. She activates her new human powers, complete with a flashy pink magical glow-up. She zips forward to save her crew, unleashing a Gale Step Mirage technique that slams the monster with a dozen high-speed afterimages at once. The attack totally works, and the zombie spirit just floats away. Problem officially solved. Meanwhile, they find the undercover agent chained up and heavily pregnant. The agent spots the leader, calling her Wind Shadow, thinking rescue has finally arrived. Watch closely, because this is not a rescue. It is a straight-up execution order for her and the baby. Wind Shadow shoves a gun to her head and pulls the trigger, but the weapon gets violently smacked away at the very last second by someone unseen. She stands there totally stunned, her hand a bloody mess, as a new guy riding an armored boar appears. Eager for a real fight, he leaps in, unleashing a wild flurry of claw strikes while calling her pretty, a very bold flirting strategy. He is amazed a zombie can talk. She thinks she can easily crush him, but gets blasted backward, minus one entire arm instead. The clawed guy just taunts Wind Shadow, laughing that she cannot afford a single mistake. A quick flashback shows a massive beast man roaring about death, while his underling offers up the pregnant agent as a sick little bonus. Absolutely stellar HR policy there. But our clawed fighter steps up, taking control of the situation. With the captors distracted, the agent breaks her chains. But she is mentally shattered with zero will left to run. She just begs her rescuer to permanently end her suffering right there. But he smirks, dropping the bomb that he knows she is a player who respawns, completely flooring her. How could a mutant know about game mechanics? He mocks her for not understanding the new rules of this world. So she spills the dark truth. Player death here is permanent. He wonders why he is a zombie if others exist. He asks about the baby next. She breaks down crying that it is all because of some total scumbag. Cue the tragic backstory. She was a struggling bioengineering PhD student who just could not graduate. Back then, she was a brilliant but angry scientist. To kill time, she booted up an online game called Bio Wasteland. Inside the game, she met a guy named Thunderfire, started dating, and he sent an invite to a fully immersive VR version. You and I both know this is a terrible idea. The realism was so intense they became actual lovers offline. He even hooked her up with a sweet job at the New Human Revival Alliance, developing serums. Her in-game research actually blew past real-world tech. Then she found out her boyfriend was cheating right after getting pregnant. So he did the villain logic thing, lured her into a mutant death trap, and had her whole squad wiped out to tie up loose ends. Back in the present, she has completely given up all hope, just begging for death. But the rescuer offers a way better deal. A chance for brutal revenge which completely short-circuits her broken brain. Meanwhile, Zhang Fanggu and his new monster army are checking out their sweet new headquarters in the Thorn Forest. Having secured a portal back to Hope City, our boy drops a totally rousing speech about crushing the new humans, getting the crowd hyped. He puts Shio in charge of all the logistics and construction, and she is strictly business. Elsewhere, a schoolgirl is cornered by a massive, shadowy beast. Turns out it is just a giant slobbery corgi giving her aggressive cuddles. Zhang Fanggu strolls up to ask his very good boy Wang Shi for a status report. The dog looks insanely proud of himself. And that is where we leave it. An entire pack of zombie dogs recruited. Trust me, things are about to get even crazier next time. You and I are about to watch a completely exhausted Zhang Fanggu. But the system drops a crazy new quest, making him absolutely furious. He complains he has literally never even heard of these weird locations. The system chimes in. A new cyborg body is ready to help out. Problem totally solved. Checking out this sleek cyborg tech, he wonders who he can con into piloting it. Suddenly, he starts yelling at his tiny follower for ignoring his rest orders. The little chibi girl just looks up with those sad puppy eyes whining for food. Then, boom, she poofs right into a full-sized zombie girl still hungry. Our guy is absolutely floored by this massive glow-up. She strikes a sassy pose, demanding meat again. Talk about priorities. He is super confused how this shy girl suddenly knows exactly who he is. Pointing up, she tries, explaining that his real name and title are literally floating right over his head. The system cheerfully notes that teammates see real names, a feature he instantly hates. This means he can only invite someone he completely trusts with his massive secret. Running through his friends list, he desperately tries spotting anyone who is not a spy. Meanwhile, his new zombie companion is inhaling mountains of food. Her only feedback on his master plan, she needs more meat. Realizing she is totally useless here, he turns back to the cyborg shell. He suddenly remembers Suzu, his senior sister. Her family company literally builds artificial intelligence for a living. Apparently, she hit a massive tech wall, leaving her company in serious trouble. Pulling her into this wild game might just save both their skins. Elsewhere, Suzu is lounging in a ridiculously fancy bedroom, looking completely bored to tears. Then she sits right up, grabbing some heavy-duty tech gear with total determination. Stretching out, she realizes it has been forever since she gamed. Her avatar sparks memories of running epic dungeons alongside her old buddy. Now, pay attention here. A single unread message pops up and she is absolutely shocked. It is a desperate SOS from Zhang Fanggu offering a secret immersive cyborg class. Seeing his classic nickname for her, she knows this is legit. Zero hesitation, she smashes accept. Her consciousness rips right out of her body, pure data downloading straight into the high-tech cyborg shell he prepped. Zapped by intense purple energy, the transfer looks incredibly painful. But boom, she materializes fully armored up. Staring down at her metallic hands, she simply cannot believe how real this feels. If the tech feels this real, her friend is in deep trouble. Landing near Zhang Fanggu, he casually welcomes her. Her immediate reaction, pure panic over the zombie, then horror strikes, thinking her friend actually turned into a literal monster. Sweating bullets, Zhang Fanggu admits she is not entirely wrong. Yeah, that does not help at all. Refusing to trust mutants, she charges up her heavy arm cannons. Hand over her buddy right now or face absolute annihilation. She fires off a massive energy blast to prove she is dead serious. You saw that too, right? He casually blocks the blast with his own shield, leaving her stunned by his crazy strength. But out of absolutely nowhere, Su pops up, binding the robotic arms of Suzu in red tendrils. Completely trapped, her attack gets shut down instantly. The zombie girl calmly tells her to check the floating party info. Seriously, what a wild thing to tell a captive hostage. There it is in plain text. Zhang Fanggu, advanced zombie. The horrible realization hits her. After a super quick explanation, Suzu finally processes that her dear friend is officially undead. Crisis averted, she syncs her cyborg memory for the mission briefing, leading their new squad toward a secret elevator inside Hope City. Their actual target is buried deep underground right below them. The elevator plunges straight down and the heat spikes insanely fast. It is getting dangerously toasty. So Su grabs everyone close, throwing up a massive spiky purple hairball shield to protect the squad. It makes for a cozy, if totally claustrophobic plunge to the bottom. The elevator jerks to a halt. They step out prepared for combat, only to get slammed by a literal wall of water. The whole facility is completely flooded, leaving them floating helplessly. Zhang Fanggu immediately promotes Suzu to submarine captain and she is totally on the case. Looking around the ruins, they realize this is an entire sunken city swarming with merpeople. Meanwhile, our boy is completely zoning out. His brain has officially left the chat. He is utterly shocked seeing mutated murlocs ripped straight from game lore. A massive school surrounds him, proving these terrors are 100% real. That friendly welcome goes straight to horror mode when one flashes its razor-sharp fangs. This vicious little mermaid gets right in his face. Remembering the game guide, he panics. Individually weak, sure, but their swarming numbers are absolutely deadly. Trust me, you and I need to see how they escape this underwater horde. Stick with me here because things get wild. Zhang Fanggu powers up. Suzu's cyborg body starts zapping murlocs left and right while Su jumps right into the brawl with her own heavy-hitting attacks. But then, the entire swarm just freezes. They look absolutely terrified of something else. The murlocs scatter and Suzu's sensors go crazy. A massive creature is approaching. Of course, it is a legendary mutated megalodon. Because, hey, there is always a bigger fish. But even this giant shark gets instantly wrecked. A massive red tentacle drags it off into the darkness straight toward glowing red eyes. The real boss drops in. A colossal titan squid that makes that megalodon look like a tiny appetizer. Its suction is so insane it inhales the entire team. Next thing you know, Su wakes up inside the beast, completely disoriented. Zhang Fanggu calmly confirms they are inside the octopus. He acts like this was the plan anyway. They actually found their destination. The legendary ghost ruins are somehow sitting in the squid's stomach. The team figures humans tried to sink this base, and the squid just accidentally ate it. Stepping inside, Zhang Fanggu is totally confused. The floor is just littered with dozens of powered-down female cyborgs everywhere he looks. Suzu explains these are the strongest models. They are just taking a little power nap to save energy. Still, our boy gets this super creepy feeling, like the deactivated army is watching them. Now pay attention, this gets weird. They face a bizarre structure, and Suzu's old map is useless. Apparently the whole base mutated. He connects the dots fast. Being inside a giant squid really changes up the decor. To find the energy core faster, they split up. Suzu heads off on her own path while Zhang Fanggu gives the classic "do not die" speech before he goes solo himself. He flies through the ruins, now crawling with shadowy tentacle monsters. And yep, he gets immediately ambushed. He smashes a creature popping out of the ground only to realize it is a zombie. He is stunned. How did it even evolve? The real boss drops in a cyborg with a crystal core. The system instantly hands over a mission complete reward. But a new quest immediately follows. Take down the cyborg leader Dr. Mecha. He powers up. This surprise boss fight is actually the perfect test for his brand new skills. Meanwhile, Su somehow found a pool and fell right in. Looking up through the water, the darkness is totally packed with glowing red eyes. They belong to a massive school of mutated piranhas. The whole monster horde immediately dives down, completely surrounding her in the deep. Su goes back to full size, totally unbothered by these piranha waters. With a single slash, she declares this is not a threat at all. It is a buffet. Back in chibi form, she is already happily chowing down on fish snacks to refuel. Her feast attracts a much bigger, angrier fish monster. It looks oddly terrified but tries acting tough anyway, roaring right at the tiny girl. Su just strikes a pose with her snack, like she is on a photo shoot, not trapped in a monster's stomach. You and I know how this ends. The fish lunges for a meal, but she just flashes a chillingly confident smile. Suddenly, that big bad monster is the one looking absolutely horrified. Meanwhile, Suzu stealthily navigates the sunken ruins. Her internal scanner finally confirms she is closing right in on the main control room, but her next step lands on a painfully obvious glowing red trap tile. Of course, a massive laser grid activates, blocking the hallway. Suzu just stares down the security system. She looks way more bored than threatened. Her brilliant solution: just disassemble her entire body on the spot. All her cyborg parts literally float right through the gaps in the laser net. Then she just snaps back together on the other side, like it is some cheap party trick. For a second, she geeks out, realizing this tech could save her family's company. Shaking it off, she refocuses and accesses the final door. It reveals the main lab, packed with dozens of dormant cyborgs sitting in stasis pods. With a snap of her fingers, Suzu decides it is time to wake up the troops. She commands the entire cyborg army to activate. Steam immediately floods the lab. Every single stasis pod hisses wide open. A huge angry hand smashes out of one. No welcome party here. She gets a giant bot in full slaughter mode, which is just perfect. Dodging a massive punch, she is totally confused. Why are her own allies attacking her? This big guy just keeps repeating his one command: eliminate all the intruders. Suzu realizes its programming is bugged, stuck on murder mode. She meets its punch head-on, sparking a massive power clash between them. The bot's huge blast forces her to throw up a quick energy shield. Time to get serious. Her arm cannon powers up for a counterattack. Systems are already overclocked to 200%. She is ready for a fight. He hits annihilation mode, and Suzu activates combat AI. Trust me, you are going to want to see this fight. Stick with me here. She is using her eye data to dodge the big guy. Energy cables shoot out, wrapping him up tight. Total immobilization. But even completely tied down, this stubborn bot just keeps screaming about intruders. Bless his simple little CPU. With the giant pin, she goes for a manual system reset, which basically means ripping his entire head clean off. Problem solved, right? Wrong. The eyes on that detached head suddenly flicker back with a creepy blue glow. The headless bot reboots, totally confused by his sudden lack of a body. Suzu smugly claims she just fixed his murder glitch. He is absolutely shocked. He calls her a prototype unit, which is huge news to her. The big guy gets quiet. Yep, a classic anime exposition dump is coming. Flashback time. We see their creator Dr. Guanga and the original prototype in a tube. Turns out, these cyborgs were just built to haul glowing energy crystals for humans. Over time, they leveled up, from simple delivery boys to a massive cyborg legion. But humans got paranoid that zombies would steal the tech. So boom, total exile. All the crazy advanced systems went straight into Suzu's prototype model first. She was basically the bleeding-edge guinea pig for every single new upgrade. After the rebellion, the prototype completely vanished. He guesses the kill switch was just a twisted gift from their creator. We see the good doctor programming another bot, looking super trustworthy, of course, not. The bot cries that their own creator exiled them and hardwired that brutal murder protocol. Watch closely because things are about to escalate. Right as Suzu decides to hunt the doctor down, a massive metal boot completely crashes the party. A whole new squad of angry cyborgs drops from the sky, all stuck on kill mode. Her new buddy confirms hundreds of them share this bug. It is a feature, not a glitch. One guy readies his fist to fight, but a powerful female cyborg grabs him, ignores his intruder chanting, and just casually crushes his head like a soda can. Suzu quickly realizes the entire Titan army is waking up extremely hostile. This massive new cyborg leader announces she came here strictly for the prototype. Suzu is totally floored. She has her own personal 9 cyborg death squad. The doctor installed a special protocol so only she could wake them up. This giant bot bows down to follow her, basically becoming her new bodyguard. Suzu wastes zero time giving her a job. Meanwhile, Zhang Fenggu throws a massive punch at the cyborg boss, but it lands perfectly on a huge, squishy tentacle. Not exactly a solid hit. Our boy is genuinely confused by the weird texture. Why so squishy? Turns out Dr. Mecha is part octopus. He just completely nullified the entire attack. Zhang Fenggu is mostly just concerned about the disgusting slime covering his hand now. Over with Suzu, she somehow tamed a giant fish. She is riding it like a jet ski, but honestly, she is bored, literally yawning mid-ride. We both know she hates being bored, right? So she leaps right into a massive pipe, diving straight down toward a creepy nest of tentacles to regroup. She lands in the nest, suddenly realizing that last fish might have just been the appetizer. Right on cue, a massive shadow looms overhead. Boom, a huge torrent of water crashes down completely, swallowing her whole. Of course, it is the real mutated Piranha King, and it is 100 times bigger. Back with our boy, he powers up his next attack with crackling purple lightning. But the cyborg boss just soaks it up, claiming it feels weirdly good. Zhang Fenggu is stunned. Wait, this guy can just absorb electricity. Dr. Mecha smugly explains his electric eel genes turn lightning into a free power-up. So our boy switches to plan B, a massive fire punch to roast him alive. The fiery explosion completely engulfs the boss, but he just grins and soaks it up because of course he does. Zhang Fenggu is understandably losing his damn mind here. The boss smugly reveals he also has Pompeii worm genes, making him completely fireproof. Now the boss is asking questions, curious how a zombie got so smart and strong. He even generously offers to let Zhang Fenggu walk away. A super generous offer from a tentacle monster. But our kid is not leaving without that energy core. A mission is a mission. Dr. Mecha just laughs in his face. No way is he handing it over. Fine. Then it is time to test out that shiny new system skill. He unleashes a wild flurry of internal force punches, hitting the boss from all sides. The hits land perfectly. Our boy seems a little confused at first, until the boss suddenly starts screaming. The delayed damage just violently kicked in. Those octopus cells are completely useless now. Zhang Fenggu explains his new skill totally bypasses all that annoying, squishy defense. Dr. Mecha simply cannot believe this little zombie has so many insane tricks. Zhang Fenggu summons a finisher hammer, but a golden chain shoots out, stopping him cold, and trust me, you will want to see what happens next. Alright, stick with me here. The hammer is stopped cold by a glowing gold chain. A purple-haired cyborg holds the end, demanding they stand down. Dr. Mecha is absolutely floored, immediately recognizing her as a first-generation model. She immediately demands to know what the heck happened after his exile. Boom, flashback time. The tragic backstory kicks off with a massive uprising in Hope City. Back then, Dr. Mecha learned his cyborgs were being exiled, basically treated like trash. An impossible choice. Exile all his creations or let his daughter stay a zombie forever. He reluctantly agrees, looking furiously close to popping a blood vessel just to save his daughter. He personally led the exile, taking apart those first-generation cyborgs before shipping them off. Their new home, the literal bottom of the ocean. Waking up inside a giant octopus stomach is certainly one wild start. Luckily, this beast also swallowed an entire town, providing free real estate, so he just fused his body with the octopus classic mad scientist logic. Putting his whole army on ice, he then completely locked the underwater base down. Back in the present, he is basically just a sad tentacle dad missing his kid. He is also deeply suspicious about why our boy and this old-school cyborg suddenly showed up together. Zhang Fenggu immediately uses this as leverage, directly asking if he wants to see his daughter. The doctor sighs, admitting he is way too fused with this octopus to even move. Watch closely, this is where it gets crazy. The cyborg girl steps up with a wild solution. Just brutally rip his core system straight out of that giant octopus body. One quick reboot later, Dr. Mecha wakes up in a brand new brain helmet, looking completely shocked that her insane plan actually worked. New body, rocking abs and all. Plus, she uploaded all global history into his head, including the ultimate prize updates on his daughter. Total blackmail material. Seeing his little girl's file makes those sad dad emotions hit hard. So naturally, he punches straight through a wall, because dealing with human feelings is tough. Turns out he is actually furious these new humans were strong enough to awaken her. Connecting the dots, he knows our boy needs the core to activate the army. Dr. Mecha agrees to hand it over, but with a catch. The catch means getting uncomfortably close to Zhang Fenggu. It turns into this hilarious chibi moment with the doctor shushing him like an absolute total creep. Meanwhile, outside the abandoned underwater city remains silently wrapped in massive octopus tentacles. The newly sentient octopus monster roars, finally free from its cyborg passenger. Their giant squid chauffeur basically gives them a ride out, saying its job is done. Our purple-haired cyborg asks the obvious question. Is he not coming to see his daughter? But nope, he has got crucial business to take care of. First, standing tall. Then he pulls the ultimate dad move, entrusting his daughter's safety straight to Zhang Fenggu. With a final warning about their deal, the doctor walks into the shadows, strapping his visor on and ordering them to win the war. Back at Hope City, the squad delivers the energy core. Big mission accomplished. Plugging it in triggers a massive power surge across the facility. A giant beam of light erupts, signaling the base is officially back online. The system immediately drops rewards, gold mystery boxes, and a massive job well done. Zhang Fenggu checks his new stats, feeling pretty hyped about his upgrades and cash flow. I know what you are thinking, cash outright. Nope. The system helpfully explains he should save up for the new premium shop instead. He is absolutely stunned seeing his massive account balance, and even more shocked by this game store feature. It is an exclusive mutant store selling everything from broken skills to literal spaceships. One top-tier item is a mutant primary evolution card, basically an instant level up. Scrolling through the shop, he realizes everything costs a fortune, even a nuclear-powered tank. Playing the good son, he plans to pay his dad's bills before starting another mission. Suddenly, the system drops a brand new quest. Find a player for the body of the Zero Queen, whatever that means. He stares at the tube lady, totally confused by the player requirement. But then a horrifying realization suddenly hits him. He completely forgot about Sue. Speaking of Sue, she is chilling at her base with that giant tamed fish. She tries feeding the dead fish to her piranha king Big Bao, treating it like dog food. Suddenly, something massive snatches the snack in a flash. She is left confused, wondering why her pet is eating so aggressively. She calls for Big Bao. Leaning over the water to see what is up, she comes face to face with a massive, shadowy beast, rocking glowing red eyes. Yeah, that is definitely not her cute baby anymore. A new cyborg guy watches this entire mess, wondering if Sue just ate his pet piranha. He quickly connects the dots, realizing this wild girl must be one of Zhang Fenggu's crew. Meanwhile, Sue is completely passed out, hanging upside down on the head of that giant fish monster. You and I just watched that. He figures she went berserk, absorbing piranha genes, and honestly, he is impressed. Let's jump right back in. Deciding she's a huge asset, he preps some seriously weird energy waves to calm her down. Meanwhile, some red-haired jackass is absolutely living it up at a club. 2 girls by his side, and he's totally sweet-talking them back to his room, promising top-tier evolution secrets. And hey, it's actually working. Dude is already planning a wild all-nighter with both of them. What a guy. But suddenly, bam, his private door gets absolutely demolished. He goes ballistic, lashing out with blazing fire whips and demanding to know who ruined his night. His little rant cut completely short by a hand, violently grabbing his entire face. A new blue-haired woman literally has him pinned to the floor like he's absolute trash. Looking down totally unimpressed, she asks if he actually thought he had a chance. But this guy, he's suddenly thrilled, desperately calling her Sister Guangling. She sighs, asking why he always makes things physical. Then drops the bomb, she isn't even the one looking for him. Stepping straight out of the shadows, the real boss makes his epic entrance. Red Hair's tone changes instantly. He calls the newcomer Ghost Eye Boss, desperately trying to suck up. But the boss isn't playing around. Fail again and there's no next time. The jackass is completely baffled, shocked that his absolute best fighter actually lost to a bunch of low-level zombies. Then the awful truth finally hits him. Ghost Eye Boss absolutely lays into the red-haired guy, screaming at him for partying while the entire world literally burns. He drops the real news. Zombies are evolving fast, and powerful new leaders are popping up. So a brand new mission drops. Guangling is ordered to lead a strike team and completely wipe out a zombie nest. Now pay attention here. Their second objective, capture a zombie leader alive for some good old-fashioned research. Scene change. Back in the real world, on a quiet, moonlit night, Zhang Fanggu's friend is totally passed out with her VR gear still on, dreaming about her missing squad. Inside the game, her avatar Meteor Shower logs in completely ready to find her missing people. Wandering the glowing neon city, she feels incredibly lonely, missing the old days. Her pure anger boils over, totally blaming the absolute jerks who bullied Zhang Fanggu and hospitalized his dad. She makes a quiet, deadly vow to find exactly who was behind it all. Nearby, two random players gossip about her sudden return and the massive new zombie threat. One dude is super desperate to awaken his powers, but apparently it's an invite-only party. Right on cue, Meteor Shower gets a highly suspicious, brand new email notification ping. She taps it open, probably expecting annoying guild spam. But nope, it's a totally classic trap. A message claims some villain captured all her friends. Her immediate first thought is just brilliant. Wait, is this a scam? Cut back to Zhang Fanggu. The Zero Queen inside the test tube suddenly sneezes hard. He is completely thrown off. Like, since when do undead zombies catch cold? Our boy is just internally sweating, praying his incredibly lame excuse actually works, thinking she's super easy to trick. But she totally hears his thoughts, staring down with a very confused look. Meanwhile, boom, a new girl rocking some wild insect armor suddenly gets zapped right into existence. Her dark silhouette is glowing with some seriously ominous bright green energy. She is instantly confused, wondering why her special class trial suddenly teleported her here. Let's pause for a second. This high-tech facility feels way too real, so she thinks she got scammed. Suddenly, a white-haired guy pops up behind her, practically making her jump out of her skin. And her very first brilliant conclusion, he's absolutely a zombie, which naturally means all her missing friends were totally tricked and captured by him too. Completely overwhelmed, she just dramatically collapses, entirely convinced she's the last player left. He instantly grabs her, desperately trying to snap her out of it, insisting he's her friend Zhang Fanggu. But honestly, his super intense zombie stare is not helping his case. In fact, she's staring back at him like he is a literal bug. She is totally unconvinced. There is absolutely zero chance she believes her respected senior would ever become a zombie, so her face slowly twists into a seriously nasty grin. She asks exactly where he hid everyone, demanding he give her friends back immediately. Or else, she's about to unleash pure, pointy green justice, and yep, that apparently means summoning a massive, terrifying insect monster to rip him into pieces. Ding Zhang Fanggu gets a sudden system pop-up. He realizes she isn't just some random player, she's the actual legendary insectoid queen. Standing there looking incredibly smug, backed up by her horrifying new pet, he suddenly remembers all the crazy stories. The queen can literally command a massive swarm mentally. He realizes her raw fear instinctively triggered her insane powers, so casually talking her down, not an option anymore. The insectoid queen squares up against her own summoned monsters, completely ready to fight. But the crazy swarm multiplies fast, completely overwhelming her in a single instant. Zhang Fanggu violently dives in from above, deciding to subdue her with an absolutely massive ice blast. Boom! His insane cryocannon flash freezes the entire massive insectoid horde completely solid. Landing perfectly in the middle of the frozen field, he desperately tries snapping her out of the battle trance. She just stands there, completely dazed, her frozen monsters shattering everywhere. We all know that confusion hits hard. She has zero idea what just went down or why she's suddenly so freezing cold. He just tells her to check her team panel, finally dropping his true identity. Zhang Fanggu, the absolute Nest Lord. Stick with me because things get wild fast. She finally realizes her old friend Xiao Yu is actually standing there and bursts into tears. Once everyone chills out, he and Suzu explain their terrifying new reality. Yuding learns mutants are being totally oppressed and instantly goes into a blind, violent rage. That righteous anger quickly turns into a terrifying plan to feed every human to her bugs. Totally normal, right? Zhang Fanggu casually interrupts her sudden villain origin story. They have way bigger fish to fry. And just like that, her mood completely flips. She is instantly pumped for the next mission. Meanwhile, Suzu actually thinks Yuding seems a little timid. Talk about totally misreading the room. But Zhang Fanggu, he knows a literal powerhouse when he sees one. He drops her right on the front lines to level up. Payday, our boy checks the system for his reward. and bam, it drops a cool 15,000 gold just for recruiting a new teammate. Next up is a massive mission, a total preemptive strike to wipe out Guangling and her army. He checks the mission details. Oh fantastic, it is these two absolute clowns again. Leaving the city building to Suzu, he grabs Yuding for the hunt. Meanwhile, in some super dramatic hidden base, now watch this closely. Guangling tells Red Hair they are totally out of options and dying here is permanent. He tries playing it cool, saying they should just team up and crush some zombies. She is completely unamused. Did he forget how their last teammate died? He blames the zombie bosses, awkwardly admitting he basically forgot to send backup. Guangling scoffs. Numbers mean nothing against raw power. Then she pulls out a secret weapon from Ghost Eye, a mystery syringe with 0 warning labels. Red Hair snatches it right up. He looks way too hyped to inject random mystery goo. This dude is absolutely thrilled. Ready to test his brand new power buff on some trash, he just jams it right in. His face completely twists, declaring one shot is all he needs. Boom. Suddenly he is a literal walking inferno, fully juiced and ready to rage. Cutting back, Sue wakes up looking pretty dazed. She is sitting in this weird high-tech room, just completely lost and confused. Her memory is super blurry. She was hanging with friends, then literally blacked out while eating. Suddenly, that cyborg dude's hologram pops up. He casually explains she went on a massive piranha-fueled rampage, evolved, and her friends are perfectly safe. Sue just stares at the floor, absolutely mortified by her own berserker highlight reel. The cyborg tries cheering her up, promising new clothes and a food tour. Totally not creepy at all. Instantly, Sue is back to her cute, innocent self. What a switch, but his idea of a food tour is diving into a sunken Kraken city. On the way down, he explains they are heading to the Titan's Abyss. It is this ancient ruined civilization full of wild story murals. And this dude is totally convinced all this spooky wall art is 100% actual historical fact. One carving shows ancient humans with crazy advanced tech like a whole literal train. Turns out their energy core was salvaged right from this very spot. But despite all that crazy science, they were still worshipping a massive floating eyeball. And their god, obviously a horrifying tentacle beast sleeping underground. This whole temple was built just to feed it energy crystals and keep it asleep. They only worshipped it out of pure fear, since this absolute monster could easily destroy the planet. The real threat was not its size, but the insane mutant genes it carried. Those genes spread like an absolute plague, turning normal rats into spiky freaks. Nobody knows the origin, but every major mutation links right back to this beast. We all thought nukes made the mutants right. Nope. The war just woke this damn thing up. After waking up, the monster seeded the entire world with its genes and then just went right back to sleep. That is exactly why the planet is overrun with terrifying monsters today. His real goal, study those genes to cure someone named Xiao Fei. But of course, the path is blocked by all sorts of shadowy horrors. He warns her the path ahead is absolutely packed with monsters. Sue just happily demolishes a giant crab leg. The cyborg is completely over it. He tells her to stick close since food is apparently her biggest weakness right now. Meanwhile, Guangling's team hunts a red-haired mutant with heavy scorpion vibes. She barely reacts before an energy arrow violently zips past her head. The mutant dodges in a wild flash of red energy, desperately trying to fight back against them, but she is completely outmatched on the defensive. 1 second later, she is brutally impaled right through the chest. Guangling stands over her with a bloody knife, just complaining that this is getting totally boring. Red Hair, riding his crazy power trip, holds up a trophy kill, totally ready for the Thorn Forest. Her squad struggles hard to keep up, begging their super-fast boss to slow down. Naturally, the fangirls are just swooning over Xiao Yu's insane new power. Trust me, don't blink. Their celebration ends when a massive, snarling zombie dog lunges from the shadows. Alright, you and I are jumping straight into the chaos. A squad member gets instantly deleted, leaving the whole team completely frozen, stunned by these insanely powerful mutants. Guangling wastes 0 time, barking out orders, desperately shouting for everyone to regroup before they get slaughtered. But time is already up. A massive pack of evolved zombie dogs has them completely boxed in. As if things were not bad enough, a colossal snake monster slithers out of the shadows. It lets out an ear-splitting roar, ready to wipe the entire squad. Suddenly, an armored red beast comes out of nowhere, biting clean through the snake's neck. The battlefield devolves into absolute madness as more mutants crash the massive brawl. Naturally, Sue starts her all-you-can-eat buffet against a giant shark monster. Rocking some crazy new tentacles, she becomes a walking nightmare. The cyborg is honestly just glad she has a good appetite, watching her take a quick dip in glowing blue slime to recharge. They eventually hit their target, a massive, creepy underwater temple. But stepping inside the place is completely dead. Not a single legendary beast to be found. The cyborg stares at a broken statue, starting to think the rumors were totally fake. Suddenly, its eyes flash a deep, sinister red because, of course they do. Right on schedule, gross red tentacles burst straight out of its stone arms. The statue morphs into an absolute unit of a monster, wasting no time trying to smash Sue into a pancake with a giant claw. She dodges it effortlessly, letting the strike just shatter the floor. Now, fully transformed, Sue quickly realizes this moving rock is the legendary beast itself. Deciding it is time to get serious, the cyborg pops out a pair of wicked metal wings. He fires a massive energy beam, blowing a clean hole through its chest. But pay close attention here, the beast just stares at the damage like a minor inconvenience. Instead of dropping dead, its entire body melts down into a squirming pile of slime. Those blobs quickly shape back up into two identical beasts. Fantastic, now there are twins. Shocked to his core, the cyborg realizes this thing multiplies. He frantically yells at Sue to fall back before an entire army spawns right in front of them. His expression is pure panic. Things just got insanely complicated. But Sue's monster form simply wraps around one of the beasts, revealing a strategy that is actually pretty straightforward. If you cannot beat them, just eat them. Her tentacles absolutely crush the monster, completely absorbing the stone beast in a wild flurry of red and blue energy. She immediately summons a massive red demon dog to casually snack on the second one. Problem completely solved. Back above, Guangling's entire squad is wiped out. She is left wondering who possesses this much raw power. A towering alpha zombie dog shadows over them, making it look like game over. But Red Hair just laughs, igniting his flame form and calling the giant beast a pathetic mutt. Ready to flex, he conjures a massive whip made of fire, slamming it directly into the monster's face with a devastating explosion. Guangling quickly reminds the guy to chill out, warning him that his flashy power-up has a strict time limit. Before they can even celebrate, a random blue energy blast forces them to dive out of the way as it rips straight between them. Stepping right out of the shadows is a brand new challenger. It is Yuding, oozing confidence, with a tiny, creepy little gremlin version of herself sitting on her shoulder. Red Hair freezes instantly, recognizing her as an old acquaintance named Tai. You and I both know karma never misses. She coldly drops the truth. The girl he abandoned is dead, and she is here strictly for some brutal payback. He just scoffs, totally unfazed by the threat. Powering up his flames again, he confidently declares she only showed up to die. Huge mistake on his part. Yuding reveals her creepy little demon child sidekick is her actual secret weapon. Red Hair is left totally speechless, as Guangling straight up abandons him on the rooftop. She leaps across the city skyline, focused on her own survival, completely baffled by how the zombies in this zone got so insanely buffed. The answer arrives when a massive boot crashes into her path. A giant stitched-up zombie woman steps forward, promising that her journey ends right here. Guangling does not even hesitate, launching a fierce kick to end the chat, but the zombie literally catches her foot, looking completely bored. That bone-crushing grip makes it instantly obvious that she is horribly outmatched. She gets dangled upside down like a cheap toy right before being violently slammed headfirst straight into the solid concrete pavement. Stumbling back up, heavily bruised but still breathing, she realizes it is time for her absolute last resort, a glowing device stuck to her neck. Pure agony twists her face as intense power floods her veins. She screams, completely exploding in a blindingly bright red aura. Fully evolved now, her confidence skyrockets. Certain she can crush this zombie, she rushes forward with a glowing fist to give her a taste of her own medicine. She connects a savage punch directly across the zombie's jaw, instantly following it up with a heavy kick just for good measure. The monster goes flying backwards. Guangling admits the zombie is tough, but confidently declares the fight is finished. But the zombie lady just brushes it off as a light stretch. Cracking her neck, she says, "The real fight starts now. Trust me, you and I are definitely staying for this." Guangling dives right back into the fight. "Stick with me because you and I are about to watch absolute madness." She misses the incoming power-up as that zombie suddenly sprouts 12 arms. Guangling's reaction, priceless. Immediately shoved on the defensive, she desperately tries blocking the flurry of flying fists, but honestly, she just gets completely pummeled by the sheer volume. Dolly, her undead opponent, easily catches her leg mid-air and calmly asks her lord for orders. From a rooftop high above, the new white-haired boss orders her to bring Guangling back alive. He is super annoyed that their little practice session got exposed. Knowing way stronger enemies are coming, he realizes he desperately needs to study this new human situation. Meanwhile, Sue and our cyborg finally reach the heart of the temple, a massive, empty throne room. While the cyborg studies a hidden mechanism, Sue is battling a massive food coma. Her eyes bulge as she suddenly realizes that massive all-you-can-eat monster buffet is coming back up. She literally starts convulsing mid-air. The cyborg realizes she is crashing hard from overeating. Then, she straight up vomits a huge torrent of red energy onto the temple floor. Lovely. That energy completely spreads out, forming this massive glowing sigil that lights up the entire chamber in an ominous red glow. The whole place starts violently shaking and crumbling as the sigil fires up and the cyborg suddenly connects the dots. This temple is actually a hidden passageway. Opening it requires legendary beast genes, and Sue just conveniently barfed up the exact key. With the temple transforming into a giant gateway, the cyborg wonders where the heck this leads. Now pay attention because this is insane. They are greeted by visions of a brutal monster war where a two-headed T-Rex quickly dominates the food chain. But there is always a bigger fish out there. Or right now a giant ape ready to completely pounce. These wild visions keep flashing, showing a winged demon as the obvious apex predator here. Because even that massive ape gets instantly crushed by some unseen force from above. It just stares up at a gigantic floating world tree under a blood-red sky. A massive energy beam then totally obliterates a city below, which our cyborg calls the absolute law of this place. They finally touch down, and Sue immediately asks if they just crash-landed into Hollow Earth. Before they even catch their breath, a gigantic shadow drops right over them. It is an ancient mutant ape monster covered in massive crab armor. Our cyborg starts sweating bullets, fully realizing they just strolled into a literal god's lair. Sue, though, she is absolutely hyped. Time for buffet round 2. She confidently squares up to the beast, totally ignoring the insane size difference. Then its chest suddenly splits into a terrifying flower-like mouth packed with razor-sharp teeth. Yeah, that is new. Her reaction, just casually slapping a hand on it like she is petting a really weird dog. The monster is super confused by her total lack of survival instinct. It just roars honestly, trying to figure out what to even do with her. Its huge eyes then lock onto the cyborg, who has literally just been standing there watching the show. And he just smirks right back, telling the giant beast it will not even get to fight him. This massive ape is absolutely furious, because Sue is literally ripping it apart from the inside. Her tentacles are shredding right through its chest cavity. You saw that too, right? A massive chunk of monster meat goes flying, and our girl celebrates with a quick taste test. Suddenly, that massive world tree starts violently shaking. The cyborg looks up sweating, wondering what fresh nightmare this is. Pure horror hits him as he finally realizes a literal god is about to wake up. Meanwhile, the white-haired boss and his sidekick check their turf, getting a system alert that his squad beat Guangling and just killed the ape. He is just relieved he can finally pay off his dad's massive medical bills. A villain with a mortgage classic. His plan is incredibly simple. Training his teammates is the fastest way to double rewards. But the system warns him that the enemies are leveling up just as fast. Smirking, he decides it is officially time to train his crew. Elsewhere, a huge blue explosion absolutely rocks the streets. Yuding and her tiny demon child stand there completely unfazed. Red Hair is stunned that her little sidekick's fire is way stronger than his. He starts whining loudly that he could totally win if he just had an evolution potion. Yuding instantly teleports right into his face, calmly asking him what exactly he thinks he could do. Now he is groveling in the dirt, begging her to stay back. Talk about a downgrade. Yuding maliciously dangles the evolution potion he wanted. Pure psychological warfare. Then she casually tosses it onto the dirt, absolutely flexing that she has plenty more in stock. He instantly jams it into his neck, fully convinced this is his legendary comeback moment. But pure horror quickly takes over. That was definitely not a power-up. His body starts swelling out of control, which is never a good sign. Yuding smugly points out that a weak body simply cannot handle a concentrated evolution potion. Oops. The massive energy overload starts tearing his body apart from the inside out. Just like that, he violently explodes into a shower of meaty confetti. So what do you and I take from this? Only his legs and a smoking spine remain, so she casually plucks that shiny red crystal right off, claiming her ultimate spoils. Alright, stick with me here. Our white-haired boss is about to interrogate a chained-up Guangling. A system alert pops. Red Hair is officially defeated and the team scores a sweet fire crystal. Guangling, she figures this is game over. Still way better than turning into a rotting zombie. Her captor steps up casually asking if she wants to be tortured. Blindfolded, she flinches hard, demanding to know who is there. So he offers a simple trade. Talk and live. Weighing her options, she asks what exactly he wants to know. He dramatically whips out a white rose, demanding absolute truth. And honestly, that little bit of theater works like a charm. She completely breaks. 20 minutes later, she swears she just spilled every single thing she knows. Our boss connects the dots fast. Players are using evolution potions. His enemies are actual human beings. Which means, no holding back. He gets right to business, demanding a name. Who is behind the max level account? But Guangling plays dumb. She claims the account owner is a total ghost. She begs him to keep his promise and spare her life since she spilled it all. Now watch closely, because he spares her but reveals a creepy bug device. And yep, he shoves a mutant goo worm right down her throat. This nasty parasite burrows straight into her stomach, becoming a very permanent, very disgusting new feature. She screams in pure agony. Her body feels like it is burning from the inside out. His sidekick cheerfully explains the worm actually boosts her powers. The catch disobey and they will totally rupture her internal organs. Incredible management style, right? Her first mission is simple. Stick by him and wait for worm mail orders. Meanwhile, in some fancy lounge, a new crew is just kicking back. Ghost Eye gets cozy with our brainwashed Guangling to plan his next move, but his grandstanding gets rudely interrupted by an armored fist smashing the table. Enter Iron Science. This heavy-duty crew tells him to step aside and let them lead. Ghost Eye is absolutely livid, calling them useless scrap metal against evolved zombies, but their leader just scoffs, totally confident his firepower crushes anything. Then we cut to a quiet balcony in the real world at night. I know what you are thinking. Who is she? This white-haired woman is chilling in a bubble bath, deciding to blow off steam in the game. In the game, a player literally named Ginger lands right on a rooftop, noting the total lack of action. Until boom, her peace gets shattered because an entire Iron Science squad drops in hot from above. And she is absolutely thrilled that something interesting is finally happening. So she dives straight off the building for a front row seat, completely determined to see what kind of massive trouble they are starting. One armored goon is itching to practice on the locals. Ginger flies in for a direct clash, slamming a powerful kick that he easily blocks, which instantly kicks off a lightning-fast exchange of blows between the two. But this guy is clearly on another level, knocking her back with pure, raw power. She instantly realizes the power gap is way too huge. Time for Plan B. She pulls out a gun, firing a signal flare straight up into the night sky to call backup. The flare forms 3 glowing cubes that look exactly like mahjong tiles. Her opponent just mocks her, pointing out it is not a valid hand. Nerd. She prays her team sees it, and they do. The Bath Lady's crew spots the tiles, instantly identifying them as Morse code. Ginger thinks her team is a total no-show, but she draws her sword anyway, deciding to just enjoy this crazy one-on-one fight. But this Iron Science goon easily parries her attack instantly, throwing her into a chokehold with a deadly blade right at her neck. He smugly declares that this is game over for her, which she is obviously not thrilled about. He mocks her inexperience. A brutal punch sends her reeling back, completely and utterly outmatched. He violently pins her against her own shield, telling her to just die already. Defeated, she grumbles about her offline teammates while waiting to respawn. Then suddenly, boom, backup drops from the sky, kicking a zombie right in the face. It is the Bath Lady's crew. The white-haired guy tells his teammate to hold back, which honestly just makes Ginger even angrier. The enemy got up, but she could not. This new guy tries explaining the situation while offering a hand. She grabs him, accusing them of ganging up on her too. And then she just logs off. Baffled you, and I just saw her rage quit before he could explain the flare was their secret code. Meanwhile, a new blue-haired woman in a flight suit rains absolute hellfire on a forest. She issues a cold command: capture the leaders, eliminate everyone else. Her squad immediately gets to work lighting up the zombie horde below. Stick with me here, this commander looks dead serious. Boom, she flips right into a super graceful attack. Our blue-haired leader is going straight for a blindfolded zombie, packing some insanely huge claws. Lightning fast, she actually parries an energy blast point blank. Then she leaps sky high, whipping her bandages around like absolute weapons. Done playing games, the commander busts out the heavy artillery. She literally unleashes a massive, earth-shattering explosion of pure blue energy. But this zombie lady is ridiculously agile. She dodges the airstrike only to get completely pinned down by the squad firing all at once. Realizing this boss is way too tough, the commander radios for backup. The zombie looks up. Reinforcements are already swarming the sky, and they instantly rain down an absolute storm of lightning. Nowhere to run. Wait, problem. A subordinate reports the main zombie horde just vanished. This entire epic fight, just a giant distraction to cover their escape route. Not happening. The commander orders a full pursuit, leaving nobody behind. The forest drops dead silent. She completely freezes in her tracks. Something feels incredibly wrong right now. Now, watch closely. Her whole squad just got boxed in by a totally different team. She looks up, wondering who these new players even are. Yup, it is the Bath Lady's squad rolling up to clean house. Talk about the absolute worst timing. Just like that, her whole squad gets completely wiped. They drop from the sky like flies, letting the newcomers just totally hijack the entire battlefield. The crew leader steps right up, fully ready to flex the power of Magneto. Rip, the blue-haired commander gets her armor violently torn off. Her entire squad just floats there helplessly, completely stripped of all their combat gear. Back in the real world, the Bath Lady is just chilling with virtual reality goggles. Suddenly, she gasps violently, ripping off the headset in pure shock. She is totally baffled by whatever just happened in-game. She sits there processing why that crazy player would actually rage quit on her teammate. Stepping out of the tub, reality hits her. This game is evolving way too fast for any normal person to track. Meanwhile, our white-haired boss is brooding back at his high-tech command center. Knowing the game locks accounts to players using biometrics, he stares intensely at the new Human Alliance leader. Could somebody else be using that account? He is not taking chances. He decides to send his new pet Guangling out there to investigate it. A cold flash of determination hits his eyes. Decision made. Ding, a system alert drops early access to a brand new zone called the Dark Ice Field. He is seriously annoyed by this update, but the system basically tells him to shut up and do his job. The system explains that these newbies are actually transmigrators, awakening special powers. So yeah, the game is physically expanding just to handle these superpowered humans. He slowly accepts this logic. But let that sink in. He knows something else completely triggered this wild update. This new Dark Ice Field is officially on the map now, and man, the local wildlife looks absolutely delightful. Just a real charming bunch of monsters. Cut to somewhere else. A new girl is happily munching on a giant monster heart before literally erupting in a blast of green world-shaking energy. Her cyborg buddy begs her to chill out while the actual ground cracks wide open. He is busy figuring out that these stone slates make up a massive world map. He is super confused about this dark ice field appearing. But she only cares if the new zone has tasty food. Boom, their chat gets cut off as the whole area starts violently shaking. A huge flock of winged beasts completely darkens the sky. Naturally, she immediately wants to eat them all. Meanwhile, he is just begging her to avoid a stomachache. Before they can even argue, some seriously creepy cloaked figures slowly step out, floating down like a winged bad omen. Their leader looks super annoyed that somebody actually activated this dark ice field way ahead of their schedule. Whatever. She shrugs it off, prioritizing some dark ritual for their ancient true god instead. Her two lackeys just stand around completely silent. Honestly, that is peak cultist behavior. So our cyborg duo waits until the coast is clear. Breathing a sigh of relief, they realize those creeps must be the actual kinsmen of that ancient god. But that relief, gone in a second, a massive hand suddenly snatches him from behind. It is a colossal, blindfolded kid holding him like a cheap action figure. He casually identifies our cyborg as a 7th-generation game creature. This giant kid looks genuinely confused about how this tiny character even got here. He just holds him up, looking totally ready to rip him open and see what is inside. So our resident foodie girl literally tries to take a bite out of the giant kid, but she cannot even leave a scratch. Her cyborg buddy screams to fall back. But trust me on this, it is way too late. That massive hand is already closing in. The giant kid snatches her up like a plastic toy. Looking way too curious, he literally licks her with his massive tongue. Personal space is absolutely not a thing here. Then it finally hits him. She is the girl who ate a judgment guard. He finds this absolutely entirely fascinating. Alright, you and I are diving into pure chaos. A sonic blast traps her in red energy rings. The giant kid super impressed her body survived, but he saves his snack for later dumping them straight into a portal. A super creepy "we will meet again" echoes as they fall. Then bam, the duo face plants right into a freezing pitch-black ice field. That landing was brutal. The cyborg checks on Sue, who is absolutely freezing right now. Wait, her monster pet actually bit a chunk off their captor. Back home, the giant kid stares at the wound, totally hyped that it is turning into a freaky crystal. Meanwhile, some creepy cult bows down to their winged boss, Grand Duke Abaddon. Plot twist, the actual god they are summoning, that giant kid, aka literally Satan. Cut to the blue-haired commander. Her elite squad is getting completely destroyed. The commander is pinned, staring straight down a massive cannon barrel. A new purple-haired girl in heavy armor just tells her to give up. Her last few teammates can only watch. Their whole division, totally wiped out. The purple-haired winner brags hard. Those zombies, just a fake-out for bloodthirsty paradise. Suddenly, another crazy player enters the chat, swinging a massive chainsaw to clean house. Now watch closely with me. A dude wants to test his gear, so they turn this bloodbath into a crazy kill count game. In the real world, a woman realizes something is super wrong. Why would a brainless zombie need to explain anything to her? She cannot figure it out alone. Time to find her team for backup. She bursts in asking what is going on in the game. Her squad, literally just one dude, and his super clingy female fan club. Their genius response, a blank we do not know. Absolute peak strategic insight. Her gut screams something is totally broken. Right on cue, the guy faints into her arms, crying that he cannot beat the monsters. So she offers to carry him and grind. Just the two of them. Usually he would love that, but his fan club instantly freaks out, completely refusing to let him go on a solo date. As they argue, she freezes. They are acting totally out of character. Then boom. A horrifying realization hits her. She violently shoves him away. Her entire team, they have been replaced by fakes. Meanwhile, a new girl decides to just log into the game herself for answers. She spawns inside a creepy abandoned lab. Red flags everywhere. This is totally wrong. A dark voice welcomes her. Never a good sign. It is the white-haired boss, proudly declaring this his turf, the city of hope. She wastes zero time swinging a massive energy sword right at him. He casually dodges a kick that would have turned his face into modern art. She notices he is the only zombie here. Yep, this is a fight to the death. But this guy just wants to monologue, begging her to let him speak first. She demands to know if he faked her team. And get this, you and I both know anime logic. He just makes a cute face, basically going, "Oops, my bad." That is all the proof she needs. Time to end this little chat with pure violence. She lunges for the kill, but he blocks her glowing blade with his bare hand. Sparks fly everywhere. He does not even flinch. Why, he was just stalling so his zombie buddies could sneak right up behind her. Trap activated, he blasts her across the room with a massive energy wave. His only worry that she might wreck his precious secret base. Before she recovers, creepy purple tentacles shoot out and wrap her up completely tight. Wait, she actually recognizes him. She calls him Professor Jang, dropping her own name, screaming why he did not just say so. He is just like, "You literally tried to kill me." Finally talking, she asks about the zombie thing. He hints it is just a playable class. Right then, another player named Lin Yu-ding drops down casually, saying she is the zombie he meant. Turns out she was just chilling on the ceiling this entire time, totally unnoticed. She acts super buddy-buddy with the professor, insisting they are all friends. Absolutely no fighting allowed. After a super long, confusing explanation, this whole crazy deathmatch is somehow totally resolved. Lin Yu-ding offers him a new lifeform shell to invite his friends. The professor is honestly shocked by how fast she is moving this whole crazy plan along. Bam, a new teammate gets fully printed inside a giant tube. He steps out, wrapped in bandages, looking completely unimpressed with this whole process. With their weird new squad formed, Professor Jang decides it is grand tour time. He shows off their new home. A surprisingly lush, peaceful forest. Naturally, that peace lasts exactly 5 seconds before a loud intruder alarm blares. A purple-haired psycho with a chainsaw is literally standing on some poor guy's back. Our welcoming committee is here. Trust me, you and I are not ready for this. Alright, stick with me here. This new arrival, number 107, is absolutely loving her power trip. Her whole crew is locked, loaded, and begging for trouble. She literally points a comically giant chainsaw right at the professor, daring him to swing. But our guy just smirks. He unleashes this dark, menacing energy, totally ready to throw down. Plus, his new squad, the Bandaged Girl and Lin Yu-ding, have his back. Bandage Girl wastes zero time, instantly erupting with this blazing, fiery red aura. She blasts forward at mind-bending speed. Just a total blur across the entire battlefield. Number 107 is completely paralyzed, unable to even track the movement. In one flash, Bandage Girl snatches a goon and launches into the sky. The whole battlefield just holds its breath for 1 second. Then number 107 swings, that massive blade straight down. The professor blocks it with his tentacles, and she is actually impressed by his defense. Though, oops, his attack totally catches Lin Yu-ding in the chaos. Over on the enemy side, a woman summons this disgustingly cute healing slug. It slaps right onto her downed teammate, who absolutely hates this slimy medicine. But this little guy goes to work, pumping him full of bright green energy. And boom, just like that, the grunt is back up and feeling completely reborn. Seeing an opening, Professor Jang lets his minion Zoli redeem himself. Zoli instantly drop-kicks a plague doctor masked woman, screaming something about wanting a fair fight. She just dodges it and says they are dipping out. So much for honor. This cowardice seriously pisses off number 107. Meanwhile, Jang and Yu-ding are just laughing from a distance, calling them pathetic weaklings. Back to the bandaged woman. She is actually being held hostage, her mask getting ripped off. Turns out she was tied up this entire time right as their grand boss appears. A massive dude welcomes his suffering children and they immediately swarm him. Absolute peak cult behavior right here. Now pay close attention here. A new twin-tailed commander calls in an airstrike and her Sky Squad unleashes an absolutely massive energy barrage. The lasers slam into the forest's defensive shield, creating a huge explosion that actually makes the professor sweat over his property value. But the commander just laughs it off, claiming they will rebuild after squashing the bugs. She drops a devastating firestorm, telling them to stay dead forever. Down below, Professor Jang shoots Lin Yu-ding a signal. She gets the memo instantly as their enemies get blasted out of the sky mid-fall. So Yu-ding goes total queen mode, summoning her terrifying subjects to fight. And her subjects, a massive swarm of furious metal-eating beetles that fly up to give the falling squad a very warm welcome. Meanwhile, Sue is completely out cold in the ice field while her cyborg pal examines his crystal. She finally wakes up, licks the ice, and spits it out. A true foodie. But her god-tier nose quickly catches the scent of a real meal, a massive nightmarish ice wolf glaring right at them. So Sue instantly snaps into full monster mode, completely ignoring her terrified friends screaming. She throws herself at the beast, her tendrils wrap around its neck, desperately trying to crush that heavy crystal armor with raw strength. Her buddy watches in pure panic. Her bite is not doing anything, and even worse, the wolf's jaws are way more lethal. And you and I both know what glowing eyes in the dark means. It brought the whole pack. An entire squad of ice wolves surrounds them, which is just wonderful. They lunge, and one snaps its jaws directly onto her tendril. Her limb starts to crack and shatter under the freezing pressure. But Sue literally sucks the life force straight out of the giant wolf she crushed. She unlocks a brand new skill and casually calls her dinner delicious because classic Sue. Back on the battlefield, Lin Yuding unleashes her children. Her metal-eating swarm dives down with one brutal command: devour everything. They instantly start chewing through the enemy's high-tech armor, leaving soldiers completely covered and screaming in pure agony. One guy in bulky mech armor actually steps up to fight a million bugs. He powers up his suit, bragging about his insane fire tech. He throws a giant fire punch, hoping to burn the entire swarm alive. But Lin Yuding just smiles. It is time for her babies to evolve. Thanks for the buffet. Somewhere else, a soldier begs her father to save her from the bugs, but Dad is sweating buckets, totally paralyzed by fear himself. Father of the year, right? He gets completely shredded by the swarm. What a brutal way to go. Back to our fire puncher, he is now trapped by mutant plant zombies, so he starts monologuing about paving the road for new humanity. He goes full kamikaze, blowing himself up for glory. Trust me, you and I will want to see the aftermath. Let's jump right in. The smoke clears, and this dude is just casually standing there, totally unfazed. Number 107 glares from above. Yeah, this is definitely not going according to her plan. The guy she literally bisected is back. He claims she only won through a cheap shot, and honestly, she agrees, admitting she needs backup against him. Number 107 looms over her victim, clearly enjoying this sadistic little power trip way too much. The bandaged woman slices the air in a golden whirlwind, but that guy is already back up, flying in just to taunt her about losing. He throws a wild punch. She casually blocks it with a literal chainsaw, demanding his surrender. His response: "Allowed in your dreams." Not impressed at all, she decides it is time for the emergency power-up, a sketchy syringe packed with mystery juice. Catching it in her teeth, she calls them monsters, looking completely, utterly unhinged. Then crunch, she shatters the glass right in her mouth, and a massive wave of raw purple energy violently surges. Rocking a psychotic grin, she drops a simple demand: everybody dies. Supercharged with new strength, she brings her massive chainsaw down. Boom, the brutal impact sends purple lightning ripping across the battlefield. Her opponent barely holds on. Where did this insane power come from? His own defenses are literally shattering under the overwhelming force. All the while, number 107 is just screaming for him to die. Very supportive of her. Now watch closely. A white-haired dude suddenly shows up, casually summoning a massive ice wall that freezes her attack. His subordinate literally cheers, "So cool, boss." Number 107, absolutely floored. Her ultimate move was just stopped cold. She lands, super annoyed. Her fun got totally ruined. Now she has to deal with a giant ice monster, and this crazy fight just leveled up. But his subordinate stops him right there, warning him not to chase. Number 107 makes her fiery escape, still looking absolutely unhinged. Her backup is honestly impressed by that sketchy juice, but tells her to snap out of it before she totally burns out. Tail firmly tucked, he admits they gotta run. These monsters are just way too strong, and they need to report back ASAP. His winged teammate asks to pursue, but our boy says no. Letting them escape spreads fear, buying his zombie lair some much-needed peace. Of course, rebuilding his nest costs an absolute fortune, back to square one. But hey, mission accomplished. He unlocks a broken skill to borrow teammate powers. Just like that, he copies Sue's Ice Wolf abilities from clear across the map. Right on cue, Twin Tails gets an SOS from a doctor in serious trouble, so our guy completely splits the team. He, the professor, and Twin Tails hit the road. The bandaged woman takes point, and this rescue squad is officially on the move. Meanwhile, Cyborg Buddy is praying his beacon worked. They are literally chilling on a giant ice crystal, dealing with brutal signal interference. Sue picks up a scent. You and I know exactly what that means. She spots the Snowfield Titan tribe, and to her, they look suspiciously like lunch. Suddenly, a massive armored figure drops from the sky. It turns out to be their ride, holding the rescue team in its hand. The bandaged woman actually worries about poor Sue alone in this strange place. But our guy chilling up top knows she is perfectly fine. His system logs show she has already eaten her way through the entire local food chain. And yep, there she is, happily gnawing on a massive leg bone. A true gourmet. Their giant transport barrels through the icy wasteland. Twin Tails suddenly gets a blizzard warning, screaming that they need to change course immediately. But it is way too late. Mysterious purple tendrils suddenly ambush them right out of the freezing storm. The whole rescue squad gets violently yanked from the sky. Even a giant armored woman gets caught as the tendrils wrap them all up. They form into one big squirming ball of people, slam directly into the frozen ground, and bounce across the landscape like a totally cursed pinball. Inside, total chaos. A tangle of limbs and awkward landings, with the armored woman getting totally squeezed by those bizarre purple bindings. Our boy is just gasping for air, wondering why his landing cushion feels so soft. Until he realizes he landed face first in the bandaged woman's chest. Oh dear. He instantly tries to pull away, stammering a super flustered apology, but something pins him down and she just wants him off her already. Poor Twin Tails is also caught in this pileup, completely dizzy from the entire ordeal. Meanwhile, the main character gets a massive nosebleed, happily deciding his life was totally worth it. No signal reports his winged teammate. They just entered the dark icefield dungeon. And of course, the system opens it to everyone, ruining his private XP farm. The system basically tells him to suck it up, which he handles with the grace of a spoiled child. So, what do we make of this? His new mission is to lead a local tribe that definitely does not exist. You and I are jumping right back in. The bandaged girl hears something massive approaching, not friendly. Turns out massive is an understatement. It is that giant armored woman from the crash just stretching her legs. Our boy figures this is the perfect time to test out Sue's shared eagle eye skill. And boom, his new vision shows a whole stampede of angry warrior women charging straight at them. Click. He suddenly realizes this has to be the exact tribe he needs to conquer. Twin Tails makes the very logical suggestion to run for their lives. But our boy, he just smirks. He doesn't see a threat. He sees his mission objective literally delivering itself. So he holds his ground totally calm while an entire tribe of giants bears down on him. His plan is painfully simple. Beat them all down and become their new boss. Easy peasy. They completely surround him. Just one tiny dude in a sea of angry giants. The tribe actually stops short, totally confused by this bite-sized snack blocking their path. But suddenly, a brand new player drops into the scene swinging a massive blade and a creepy grin. This guy is absolutely thrilled to find a fresh zone. To him, this giant tribe is just a giant pile of EXP. Without a second thought, he starts slaughtering the tribe members who were just defending their home. Our boy is absolutely furious now. He realizes these players are just killing for points. Now watch closely. He unleashes his full power, declaring the tribe his chosen subjects. Nobody messes with his people. A massive vortex of energy explodes out of him, completely shredding the player killers. The whole battlefield erupts in explosions as those EXP farmers get instantly wiped off the map, leaving our boy standing there with his tentacles out. An absolute undeniable boss move. The giant tribe's chieftain actually thanks them for the save, but she is clearly not impressed. In fact, the whole tribe drops right into a fighting stance. They totally refuse to submit. Her logic is pretty simple. Only the absolute strongest rules, and he is just a tiny dude. Classic size discrimination. She explains that days ago some weird monster stole all their food, and now she is blaming his entire race for the crazy actions of just one person. Our boy immediately starts connecting the dots. Could the thief really be his own gluttonous teammate? And yep, cut straight to Sue. She is absolutely devouring a giant bone, living her best life. The chieftain describes a tentacled monster with a freaky appetite. The main character is sweating bullets now, knowing that description fits Sue down to the letter. Despite her boiling anger, the chieftain admits she is grateful for the rescue, but she apologizes firmly, stating they can never be allies after this. That is when the bandaged girl steps in with a counteroffer. What if they help catch this food thief? Amir agrees, but only if they deliver. I know what you are thinking, hunting his own teammate. Yep, with a smirk, our boy accepts the quest. The scene shifts to the massive imposing gates of the Titan tribe's camp, where a very familiar someone makes a dramatic entrance. And it is literally just Sue, humming a happy tune, totally unaware she is now a wanted criminal. Speak of the devil, Sue is out on the prowl for more yummy snacks. Meanwhile, the team is setting up the most ridiculously obvious giant net trap ever created. Twin Tails is absolutely convinced she will not fall for it, but our boy knows his target's fatal weakness way too well. Right on cue, her super sniffer goes into overdrive. She catches the scent and locks onto the giant meat. She just thinks these locals are super wasteful for leaving good food out, which gives our boy the perfect signal to spring the trap, shouting, "Now." A massive net drops straight from the sky. Sue is completely baffled, getting helplessly tangled up while literally still trying to take a bite. And Twin Tails seriously cannot believe that actually worked. Still tightly clutching her prize, Sue looks around, utterly confused by this wild turn of events. Then her teammates step out, asking what in the world she is doing here. The giant chieftain arrives right on time, pointing down and officially accusing her as the legendary food thief. The whole crew just stares down at their problem child, who is in some extremely deep trouble. But Sue plays innocent, claiming she only found abandoned food in the snow. Finders keepers right, this excuse gives the poor chieftain a massive headache, barking that the snow is literally their refrigerator. But Sue doubles down. She says it smelled totally rotten anyway, so she figured it was just trash. A truly galaxy brain defense right there. She then deploys the ultimate weapon, puppy dog eyes, apologizing because she was just so hungry. Our boy, though, latches right onto that rotten detail. He suddenly looks dead serious as she explains it had a weird smell like expired supermarket food. So Twin Tails decides to investigate. She pokes the giant meat with a small scanner and gets an immediate deadly poison detected warning. This food was literally a trap meant for someone else. Twin Tails drops the massive bombshell: the tribe's entire food supply was intentionally poisoned. The chieftain suddenly realizes this is exactly why her people keep getting sick. We see the grim aftermath with so many of her tribe already down for the count. It also perfectly explains why her fierce warriors were so weak getting slaughtered by those players. Crazy, right? Meanwhile, Sue is still in the background, happily chowing down on the evidence. Let us jump right in. He grabs her desperately, trying to make her spit out that toxic snack, but she just puffs her cheeks, refusing to drop her precious meal. With a look of pure joy, she swallows the whole thing down. She drops instantly, and for a second, it actually looks like it is game over for her. But nope, she just leveled up her poison resistance because of course she did. Meanwhile, down in the dark ice field, a brand new human base is under construction. 2 fresh faces drop deep underground to report directly to their boss. They are admitting failure to a guy in ridiculously over-the-top golden armor. He just stares at a holographic map plotting their massive expansion. His lackey tries explaining the target zone is completely overrun by unbeatable zombies, but Golden Boy does not care. He declares the whole world is humans only. The scene flips to the creepy thorn forest. Right there, a full team of workers is rappelling straight down into this absolute monster of a chasm. Down below it is a massive mining setup with people dragging extremely heavy carts. A seriously buff woman in a red dress warns everyone to stay perfectly quiet unless they want monsters attacking. This muscle lady in red sneaks through the dark cave. Her partner in a red jacket asks if she actually managed to hide them all from the zombies. She confirms some other lord is keeping the undead distracted, so they are 100% in the clear. But he just smirks. Turns out he totally used a couple of idiots as bait to clear the path. Watch closely because this gets wild. Their goal is opening a portal to flood the ice field with new humans. Their secret weapon, a custom virus destroying all mutant monsters. His huge plan is total monster extinction within a single month. Super subtle. Suddenly, the miners break through the rock below, hitting something that makes a guy absolutely light up. He screams. They finally reach the dark ice field permafrost layer. Mission accomplished, right? Nope. A massive blue vortex instantly opens up and sucks everybody into total oblivion. The whole mining crew panics, getting dragged straight into the swirling abyss. So much for getting paid. This wild portal then explodes from the ground right inside the dense thorn forest. It completely scares a bunch of local zombies who were honestly just trying to do manual labor. A new girl rocking spiky purple armor instantly feels the chaos. She pinpoints the energy coming from the west side of the forest and sends her monstrous underlings to go check it out. She sees this as the absolute perfect chance to make a name for herself. Her boss praises her, offering literally any reward she wants. She smiles confidently, making it clear she is not going to hold back one bit. Meanwhile, our main guy is freezing, genuinely wondering if zombies can even catch a cold. They finally reach a lone cabin in the ice field, where Sue plays the part of a very creepy nurse, announcing the doctor is officially in. She promptly scares the absolute soul out of a patient on the floor. This cybernetic doctor is barely alive, desperately reaching for a drop syringe. Right as his fingers brush it, our guy grabs him, trying to snap him out of this crazy delirium. Miraculously, the guy actually pulls through, looking incredibly relieved to just be breathing. Then he suddenly rips his shirt off and flexes, bragging he just invented an antibody. Insane recovery. He gives all the credit to a confused Sue. Her toxic snack was the secret ingredient. I know what you are thinking. Turns out this super virus was made by the new human faction Witch. She is a rival scientist with terrible ethics who went behind his back to approve a destructive plan, meaning the whole Titan tribe was just a giant test subject for her sick experiment. Suddenly, a massive crash outside puts everyone on high alert. The chief just completely collapses as the deadly virus takes hold. They rush to prep the new antibody, praying it is not too late to save her. Our guy is totally baffled, asking how he made a cure so fast. The doc reveals Sue brought back a little girl who acts like a living mother cell for the mutant gene. It all connects to an energy core they found and offered to a god, which seems to be the actual source of every single mutant. The cybernetic doc explains they were all just randomly teleported right here. This gets our main guy thinking. He needs to find more energy cores to understand these mutations. Then boom. A wide-eyed realization. Amir confirms there is a core right in her territory, which is exactly what he needs. The scene cuts over to the misty thorn forest. A squad of monster girls just makes a totally ungraceful crashing landing. Their purple-armored leader spots the target below. The entire squad touches down with a heavy dramatic ground-shaking thud. They find a bizarre giant ice crystal just chilling right in the middle of the woods. She touches it, confirming it is frozen solid. Truly groundbreaking analysis. Her bandaged friend notes the crater it left is unnaturally clean. Meanwhile, a stitched-up brawler wonders if some mutant ice tiger is actually to blame. So what do you and I make of this? The bandaged girl doubts it. One wants to smash it, the other wants to report back. Stick with me here. We are jumping back into a classic tactical disaster as the red jacket guy watches the chaos unfold. He is just glad these weird zombies are not the ones causing this crazy blizzard. His buff partner yells to fall back, but he wants to watch the show, and that stitched-up zombie happily delivers the entertainment. Winding up a brutal punch, she lands a devastating direct hit right onto that massive crystal. She yells in triumph as it cracks, but boom, the attack backfires spectacularly, instantly flash freezing her entire arm solid. The magical frost spreads lightning fast, trapping her entire squad in ice and turning our fierce brawler into a giant zombie popsicle. The whole monster squad is completely paralyzed, realizing they screwed up big time. Watching from the shadows, Red Jacket spots a golden opportunity. His crew swarms out of the woods, ordering the frozen zombies captured alive. And just like that, these fierce monster girls become helpless bound prisoners. The smug captor plans to use them as monster bait. Leaving his prizes with the lowly grunts, he feels extremely proud of his genius plan. But suddenly, his buff partner collapses in absolute agony. She tries playing it off as a clumsy trip, but something is seriously wrong. Plot twist. One of the zombies fed her a deadly goo worm, and it is totally destroying her from the inside out. Her only survival plan: send an SOS through the parasite itself. Meanwhile, back at the cabin, Amir is resting outside with the crew. Now pay attention here. Our boy asks her directly about a hidden energy core. The doctor explains these cores were ancient offerings to gods. Amir totally confirms this, revealing her tribe calls them legendary holy stones from their oldest myths. These crazy legends show her ancestors sacrificing the glowing stones to a winged god. When supplies ran low, a warrior named Gua claimed the final stone. Instead of sacrificing it, he forged an epic sword to slaughter their greedy god. So Gua went all out trying to assassinate their god with the blade, but spectacularly failed. The angry god responded by dropping a massive 1,000-year blizzard across the entire frozen wasteland. That magical storm became a massive prison, trapping her entire tribe inside for over a millennium. She points out they were totally stuck until he finally arrived. Naturally, our boy asks the most obvious question: how exactly did they get inside? Amir reveals that those heavily armed humans recently breached the barrier too. Then suddenly, a frantic tribe member bursts in screaming for help. They scream that someone named Ika is in grave danger. Elsewhere, the purple armored girl catches a familiar scent. This psychic message is transmitting right through her giant mutant pet mother bug. She instantly realizes her captured squad sent the distress signal, and she is furious. Flashing a terrifying grin, she vows absolute brutal vengeance on these humans. This girl and her bug are officially on the warpath. Her entire monster cavalry mobilizes, charging ahead. Meanwhile, Red Jacket smugly gloats to his prisoner about his genius plan using the captured zombies as meat shields while they march right into her home. Back at the human camp, the buff woman feels her parasite pain completely fade. The SOS worked. You and I both know what happens next, right? The ground shakes violently, throwing the humans into chaos. Red Jacket panics, thinking the storm followed them. Instant karma hits like a massive truck. A panicked crew member points up in pure terror, desperately trying to get his attention. A massive glowing insect monster is dropping right onto their heads. The entire human squad freezes in horror, realizing their day just got monumentally worse. And their brilliant tactical response: simply scream monster and run for their pathetic lives. Seeing the perfect distraction, the tied-up monster girls decide to bolt, but Red Jacket desperately tries rallying his terrified troops, yelling at them to hold the line. His whole panicked team unloads a massive flashy volley of energy blasts at the giant bug. The massive attack lands dead on, engulfing the creature in a blazing fireball. For one sweet second, they actually think they won. But of course, total failure. The bug emerges without a scratch. So back to the master plan, screaming and running away in pure terror. And who is casually riding this massive kaiju? The purple armored girl, looking ridiculously smug. She taunts the running humans, letting them know escape is absolutely impossible. Meanwhile, her freed squad is already plotting to leave some guy named Foxy to die. The bandaged one mentions a terrifying mystery at the forest edge they must investigate. Hearing this juicy intel, the purple armored leader decides that sounds way more interesting than killing humans. So her giant bug mount carries her straight toward that mysterious massive ice crystal from earlier. Flashing a wicked smile, she unleashes a terrifying swarm of metal-eating beetles, which immediately start devouring the solid ice. Trust me, you need to see this. Through her shared vision, she spots something impossible: a massive dragon completely pinned down by a glowing sword. This ancient beast is trapped inside, roaring in pure agony. Alright, you and I are jumping right into the chaos. That psychic feedback hits her hard, leaving her completely stunned while the village titans get slaughtered. One lone warrior desperately tries holding the bloody line. So our boy and the doc rush in, ordering the antibody for everyone, but boom, the main gate gets blown wide open. The witch elites lead the charge, ready to finish this quickly, injecting the cure into the fallen titans on the ground. The antibody kicks in with a massive golden glow. Beams of light erupt from the village. Yeah, not a subtle cure at all. The doc is absolutely fascinated watching their bodies mutate and revert to primal beast-like forms, a full-on feral awakening. He is thrilled realizing the titans are actually evolved beastmen. Our boy just stands there with his bandaged zombie, watching it unfold. Everyone braces as the gate assault intensifies. Meanwhile, the doc explains they evolved and lost their beast forms over time. And now this virus is completely reversing the process. What a fantastic day for weird science. The gate finally shatters under the relentless attack. In come the new human soldiers, shields raised and ready to brawl. One witch elite dodges a crazy storm of blasts, realizing she is completely outnumbered here. And why? Because those newly reverted titans are just tearing through the human grunts. Elsewhere, another elite gets tangled up with some giant angry worm monsters, and snap, one worm makes a quick snack out of a soldier. Yikes. Surrounded, the elite admits they cannot hold the line. But here's the part you need to watch. Amir rallies her beastly tribe to battle. Breaking free, the captured elite unleashes some absolutely massive firepower right onto the worms. Her counterattack is this giant energy wave that just vaporizes the enemy soldiers instantly. Meanwhile, the titans keep transforming, getting completely feral and insanely powerful by the second. Watching the absolute chaos, the mecha girl wonders where these invaders even came from. She steels herself, definitely not planning on backing down. That is when Amir takes off, spreading her massive wings. Suddenly, a new winged fighter joins the brawl, raining down purple energy feathers. Below, the mecha girl gets caught in the deadly barrage. This newcomer, a white-haired guy with tentacle wings, ordering the final push to drive them out. He dives right into the human forces, his tentacles whipping through their ranks like an absolute blender. Just one sweep clears a massive chunk of the battlefield, but as he lands, something feels seriously off. Killing these guys feels totally weird. He notes their strange deaths just as another elite with a giant hammer appears. This winged fighter looks up, completely shocked by what he is actually seeing here. His hammer-wielding partner yells that the invaders are retreating, but she grabs one and it glitches into blue pixels. They are fake. The winged guy finally gets what was bothering him. Elsewhere, a guy in gold armor gets the terrible news. His clone army completely wiped out. His scientist partner is just annoyed, their secret weapons got exposed. Gold armor explains they were just player data illusions, not actual soldiers. You saw that coming, right? The scientist is already planning crazy upgrades. This failure is just data to her. But then Gold Armor spots something shocking on the monitor. It is our boys' zombie crew inside the dark ice field, which means they definitely have an energy core. Now he is very interested. Meanwhile, inside that ice field, a roaring campfire is surrounded by giant horned women trying to stay warm. One of them looks down with pure curiosity at some very, very tiny visitors. This bandaged fighter from our boys' squad tosses him something, telling him to get on. The giantess holds him in her palm, asking his plan. Another titan explains this tiny guy just saved their whole tribe. So for his heroic efforts, they are making him their new master. Talk about an insane promotion. The whole tribe kneels. Our boy thinks this is a bit much. He gets a crown, panicking over who brought his main account here. Elsewhere, Gold Armor stands watch over his dark domain deep inside the creepy and sprawling thorn forest. This purple-armored girl is back at the giant ice crystal, flexing about her new metal-eating beetles. She unleashes her swarm to see what is inside the dark cave. Her bugs start chewing the ancient ice, cracking it with alarming speed. One finally breaks all the way through, waking up something absolutely massive inside. A giant, furious dragon glares at the tiny invaders, letting out an epic roar that shakes the entire mountain. It then unleashes a devastating blast of icy breath. The entire swarm gets caught in a freezing vortex. The dragon tries flash, freezing them all into oblivion. The tribe sees the chaos. And that is where we leave it. Never mess with a dragon god. Let's jump right in. The kid is completely confused, but when a golden blur suddenly shoots out of the mountain, he instantly gives chase. He tries to lasso the thing with an energy whip, but this little dragon is just way too fast. And of course a quest pops up. Tame the ultimate mountain boss. Yeah, no big deal, right? Then a white-haired guy shows up. He realizes our boy stole his identity to find the dragon god. Gold Armor tracks our boy down looking super smug, but his scientist partner pops up on hologram saying, "Hold up." She warns him about a massive energy signature. Going in solo is a completely terrible idea. Gold Armor rolls his eyes but agrees. They will just let our boys' team act as bait and watch the total chaos unfold. Meanwhile, the giant tribe walks our boy right to the Divine Mountain. The leader says this place is totally off limits, so they just become his exclusive personal bouncers guarding the entrance while he goes inside. With his new security detail on standby, our boy and his squad start the brutal mountain climb. The snowstorm is getting nasty. His bandaged teammate is freezing, definitely not dressed for this weather. So the mecha girl steps up to be a human heater. Warming mode fully activated. The bandaged girl practically glues herself to her. Talk about enthusiastic. Leaving our boy to just stand there watching this super awkward moment. Suddenly, the hooded girl hears something weird. An entire stampede of demonic mountain beasts comes charging right at them. A giant winged titan swoops down, snatching our boy to safety. From above, they realize something crazy. Now pay close attention here. These monsters are running for their lives. Whatever is ahead is absolutely terrifying. Their path is blocked by a giant magical seal. Basically, a massive keep-out sign. The real white-haired guy arrives looking super annoyed, but his hooded companion suddenly starts glowing with raw power. The AI says this curse has no data, so she literally just decides to blast it with pure brutal force. The rest of the squad is absolutely speechless as she slams a supercharged fist right into the magic barrier. Smirking, she watches the ancient seal crack, and then she just punches a massive hole straight through the thing. Her team is completely stunned, calling her Professor Jang in absolute total awe. She just shrugs it off, saying she barely tried. Absolute flex. With the curse broken, it is time. But the white-haired leader suddenly yells at everyone to stop moving. He realizes our boy's squad was coming this way, and an empty cave screams ambush, so he leaves the professor behind on guard duty. The remaining 3 head deeper into the dark mountain. Suddenly, a very creepy sound echoes through the cave. Glowing green bugs instantly swarm them, and he totally recognizes these gross little things. They are metal-eating beetles, which means that crazy purple-armored girl is definitely hiding nearby. The mecha girl realizes they can just use the bug swarm like a creepy glowing map. Chasing the bugs, they venture further inside. The white-haired guy freezes, sensing an absolutely insane amount of power. The beetles found their target, the actual dragon god. He screams to run as giant eyes lock on. You and I know how this goes. A massive pillar of light completely swallows them, blasting them away. The leader crashes down hard, finding himself totally lost in some giant fancy room. He is completely alone. No backup and absolutely zero clue where he is. He turns and sees a giant fancy coffin. Naturally, he starts apologizing to the dead guy, blaming the stupid dragon. But then he notices the carved artwork on the lid. A warrior riding a dragon. Wait a minute. Then it finally hits him. This is the legendary Titan chieftain from the myths. The carvings show the chieftain's epic life. All his heroic battles, his ultimate defeat, and his final eternal rest right inside this very tomb. Which gives him a genius idea. The legendary holy sword must be inside too. He tries to force the heavy lid open, but it literally does not budge. Then he reads the fine print. The sword was actually given to the dragon. That giant lizard is the real treasure key. And then reality smacks him. He lost the dragon and his team. Total fail. Just then, he spots a rogue metal-eating beetle. He realizes following this little guy will lead him right to the boss. Trust me, you will want to see this showdown. He sprints after the bug straight back to the dragon. Let's jump right into this madness. Our guy gets way too cocky, taunting the giant lizard he just escaped. But one dragon glare smirk instantly wiped away. Its eye flashes. Boom. The beetle gets totally zapped into some bizarre alternate dimension. He goes tumbling right through a crazy psychic vortex too. Landing inside a crystal maze, he realizes the brutal truth. Those glowing dragon eyes were a total trap. But he refuses to quit. He immediately orders his bug to start searching again. The dragon god just stares. Completely unimpressed by this pest, her eyes literally glowing with pure annoyance. So our absolute genius puts on a blindfold, thinking he just outsmarted an ancient magical beast. Truly a master plan. The dragon was actually about to let him walk away. But now, she is stepping up to end this man's entire career. Back outside, Professor Jang guards the entrance. She is seriously wondering what is taking her squad so long inside. A weird noise suddenly puts her on high alert. She spots a tiny figure falling fast for a sneak attack. It is the purple-armored girl and her buddy crashing straight down. Her friend clings on for dear life, screaming in pure terror about a fear of heights right as they spot Jang. Yelling for a last-second rescue, they end up slamming down and making a massive, brand-new crater right in front of her. Professor Jang just stares down at this utter heap of failure in the snow. She is totally unimpressed. She demands to know why they skipped the cave entrance. Immediately, they point fingers at the dragon god. Now, pay close attention here. Her interest spikes, demanding a highly specific description of this dragon. This makes our bug girl super suspicious. How could the professor possibly know its face? She claims it is just some weird instinctual memory, like a random image that simply popped into her brain. Shaking off the weirdness, the armored girl insists they must rescue our boy. The duo charges straight into the mountain, leaving Jang alone to guard the entrance again. Left alone again, she deeply wonders about the dark mystery of this ancient ice dragon. Bam! Another vision flashes in her mind. A horseback warrior entering this exact same cave. Meanwhile, the bandaged girl and mecha girl randomly show up. Asking the newcomers how they escaped, the purple-haired girl drops the bad news. They are all totally trapped in a mind-bending maze. She is absolutely furious. They followed the path perfectly, but somehow just ended up right back at the start. Why? Because the dragon god is actively shifting the whole maze layout to lock intruders out. Without her metal-eating beetles, she has zero clue how to navigate this mess. But right on cue, the bandaged girl steps up confidently, claiming she can track the dragon. Flashing a cocky smirk, she brags that beastman senses are 1,000,000 times better than some basic bugs. The purple-armored girl is completely stunned by this absolute beastman confidence. Flashback to how the other team arrived. Their mecha girl runs a quick system check while Jang shouts last-minute orders at the entrance. The trio marches inside completely clueless about the absolute nightmare waiting for them. You knew this was coming. Facing the dragon god, the white-haired leader immediately attacks. He summons a massive red energy wolf to ride straight into combat. His hands glow intensely as he channels every ounce of power into this strike, launching himself through the air like a literal missile. But the dragon, she just opens a swirling spatial vortex to stop him dead in his tracks. His epic fiery wolf construct slams straight into the dark void. For one crazy second, he actually believes he can brute force his way through. Then he gets completely sucked into the dragon trap. The dragon god immediately counters with a massive, devastating beam of pure ice energy. A blinding vortex erupts where their two attacks clash. His powerful energy beast gets flash frozen into a giant crystal. Then it instantly shatters into dust from the overwhelming force. Totally unimpressed, the dragon coldly declares his little magic tricks are completely useless. But the dude lands with a huge smirk. He just realized her teleport skill has a cooldown. He just needs to move faster. Time for strategy B. Instantly, he unleashes a massive, furious storm of purple lightning for round 2. This dragon god is actually slightly impressed, admitting this guy is way more persistent than she originally thought. Realizing she underestimated him, she tightens the grip on her sword. Her terrifying power flares, declaring it is finally time to get serious. Then she drops the million-dollar question. Are you ready to die? Our boy just smirks back, summoning his own badass spiky ice armor. His raw speed is so insane, it literally catches the dragon god completely off guard, but her power, a whole different level, blowing right past all his defenses. She coldly promises his body is the next thing getting shattered. Now our guy finally realizes he is in way over his head. She unleashes a flurry of afterimage attacks, but he actually spots the hidden pattern. He is forced to desperately leap and weave through this absolute onslaught. But she keeps up the heavy pressure, totally relentless in her assault. He tries to counter with a massive supercharged ice fist, continuing this deadly dance of endless dodges and strikes. With her blade crackling with immense energy, she finally lands a solid clean hit, completely shattering his arm guard. But despite the heavy blow, he keeps charging forward. What a pest. But you and I both saw it. Something is totally weird with her energy core. Alright, stick with me here. Our guy gets trapped in this wild purple energy vortex. She just scoffs, saying his cheap tricks are useless. Trapped, yes. Defeated, no way. A brilliantly terrible idea hits him. If she can use that core for a power boost, why not him? The crystal instantly morphs into a massive psionic blade. Round 2 starts now. This insane power spike catches the dragon god's attention immediately. Refusing to be outdone, she draws her own sword for the clash. Our boy pumps his energy into the stolen weapon, and the two clash in a blinding burst of purple and blue. Their blades slam together with a deafening crack. She is completely mind-blown that he matches her. Boom! One clean strike sends her flying and knocks her weapon away. Blade at her throat, he claims victory. She glares, telling him to just finish the job. But our guy gets cocky, smugly dropping the ultimate disrespect. She is not even worthy of knowing his name. Right on cue, Professor Jang steps in. The dragon immediately calls her Fafna. Jang is totally baffled by the weird name. Meanwhile, the mighty dragon god bursts into actual tears, calling her master and whining that our boy is a huge bully. The rest of the squad finally shows up, completely confused. The dragon instantly gets aggressive, insulting them as the ugly pets of her beloved master. Our boy starts piecing the puzzle together, the chieftain, the coffin, Professor Jang. Suddenly, the dragon god summons a comically huge sword to protect her. Like a very good dragon girl reporting for duty, she proudly presents the holy blade. But Jang frantically waves her hands, desperately trying to explain she is not her master. Now pay attention because this next part is insane. The Beastman yanks Jang to safety as a massive light beam blasts the screaming dragon god right through the chest. Professor Jang freezes, absolutely horrified by the ambush. Above them, a storm of deadly golden spears rains down. Our boy is charging up a massive counterattack. He throws up a giant energy shield to cover the team. Then the chieftain casually strolls in, praising his new power. The bug girl is completely stunned by this sudden entrance, especially with her mecha teammate knocked out and suit totally offline on the ground. Scene cut. We jump to a futuristic city glowing at night right before the entire skyline violently flickers and dies. Down on the streets, panicked citizens realize the grid failed. The bug girl's teammate just casually notices the blackout mid-snack break. Her blonde friend absolutely panics. The whole city energy core vanished. Using her insect shared vision, the bug girl confirms the hilarious truth. Yep, our boy literally yoinked the city power source. The blonde just rolls with the madness, ready to relay their next move. Over at a high-security prison, the massive blackout sparks absolute chaos. Guards immediately scatter to figure out what went wrong. Inside a dark cell, a woman in red holds her battered cellmate, noting the power drop. Meanwhile, the white-haired guy flashes a manic grin. I know what you're thinking. What is his crazy plan? He instantly chokes her, putting on a dramatic fake-out for the guards while striking peak villain poses. She plays along perfectly, angrily, snapping her chains with fake fury. Then she screams her lungs out, acting like the ultimate helpless damsel. Begging someone to save her, a guard finally rushes in, totally falling for the obvious trap. Bam! She greets him with a brutal kick to the face. She casually tells her partner he is free, mission totally accomplished. He just smirks, highly praising his top subordinate for that absolutely flawless acting job. With the clueless guards neutralized, he makes his escape, leaving her to clean up the rest. Back out in the freezing snow, our boy is getting hammered by golden arrows. His ice shield is cracking fast. Playing defense is a total losing game. So he activates elasticity, spawning a weirdly wobbly energy shield, which hilariously acts like a trampoline, bouncing the entire deadly volley right back at the golden attacker. The guy casually swats his own arrows away, zero sweat. Seeing his teammates get blasted through the air, he finds the perfect opening to strike. The golden armor guy summons a giant energy symbol to absolutely crush him. It slams down in a blinding flash. Our boy barely blocks the hit, but right on time, his squad leaps directly into the messy brawl. A sudden warning blares as two massive fireballs lock onto the mecha girl. Her suit auto defenses instantly fire up, deploying a clutch last-second shield. From up high, she spots the enemies waiting below. The battlefield instantly devolves into an absolute free-for-all of crisscrossing lasers. Watching this, the bandaged woman realizes he only took that hit to save her. Trust me, you are going to want to see how this ends. She rushes to his side, desperately pleading for him to survive. Alright, stick with me here. Out of nowhere, a comically massive sword slams into the snow. Then a lady in heels casually strolls up to it. This newcomer is apparently a scientist, and she calmly identifies the sword's raw power source. The whole battlefield is left totally baffled by another random player joining the chaos. But her job here is done, so she signals a full retreat. The Golden Warrior immediately makes a mad dash, firing off a quick parting shot as he escapes. His teammates start screaming that the bad guys swiped the energy core, but our boy is already back up, absolutely determined to stop their escape. Meanwhile, Fafnir is still down on the ground, bleeding badly from that dirty sneak attack earlier. The bandaged woman holds the dying Fafnir while the enemy flees. But our boy instantly calls off the chase. Saving the dragon takes top priority right now. He grabs her frantically, checking if his system storage actually has a cure for a massive chest hole. Then a brilliant, totally gross idea hits him, the slug of mending. He digs through his inventory and finds the slimy guy despite his nasty power debuff. He pulls out what is basically the world's slimiest emergency medical kit. With a quick toss, he slaps that healing slug straight onto her gaping wound. The little guy instantly goes to work, glowing with insane regenerative power. His teammate is absolutely stunned when the fatal wound closes in mere seconds. Our boy pats the slug, jokingly calling it a snot slug, which the little guy absolutely hates. Fafnir is back up, so the squad regroups while the thieves vanish into the horizon. His teammates are totally fuming, angry they let those bad guys escape completely. The purple-haired mecha girl simply cannot believe the insane speed of those two new enemies. She reports the terrible news: the new humans are evolving and they took the core. But our boy, he just calmly smiles and tells her to relax. He already has this figured out. He blames their crazy speed on an unstable enhancement potion he knew about, and then he drops the real bomb. Now watch closely, the stolen energy core, completely fake. This massive reveal leaves his squad totally speechless. He realized Fafnir's sword was definitely not using his core. The glow on her blade was completely different from the real energy core he had already secretly pocketed. He explains the core he is holding is just a shrunken version of the original one. He bets it only unlocks its true full power for the chosen master. That is exactly why Fafnir's sword finally reacted when Professor Jang showed up. Then his mecha buddy asks the million-dollar question, so where is the real one? Right on cue, the real Fafnir appears, just casually announcing that she has it. The whole team is totally stunned to see her alive. She just gives a cocky smirk. She reveals her master gifted her the holy sword. But to be safe, she created a decoy, stashing the real weapon away before going into her long slumber. Classic anime logic. Turns out, her own body was the ultimate safe deposit box. Suddenly, the designated master, Professor Jang, gets this crazy glowing hand tattoo. She simply reaches out, and a glowing golden blade starts pulling directly from Fafnir's chest. Jang is left completely clueless about what she is even holding onto. Then, with a massive blinding flash, she fully yanks the epic holy sword free. Just like that, the professor is officially holding a legendary weapon. Meanwhile, back over at the new human base, the villains are having a very tense meeting. The Golden Warrior finally realizes he got totally played, crushing the fake core in pure rage. We both knew it. The boss steps out totally annoyed by this terrible performance review. The Golden Warrior immediately starts begging for a second chance. But the boss just slowly raises his hand, looking like he is about to permanently delete this employee. The useless fake core completely shatters into absolute nothingness. The boss tells his golden flunky it is time for an upgrade, wondering if shoving 2 real energy cores inside him might somehow fix his massive incompetence. Meanwhile, a gigantic pillar of blazing light violently erupts from the snowy mountains. As our boy leads his squad straight out of the newly thawed ice field, he has to shield his eyes from the sudden absolutely blinding sunlight. Because he basically melted the entire frozen wasteland, a tribe of local beast women immediately drop down worshipping him as the literal god of the sun. He is left totally baffled. He was literally just here to steal a sword, but they explain that removing it broke the ancient curse, bringing back the sunlight forever. And obviously he just soaks it all up, completely ready to accept his new godhood. With the main quest completely wrapped up, the squad sets up a camp for the night. A system alert finally pops up with rewards getting a major side-eye for the awful timing. He checks his loot and gets instantly salty over a pathetic 50,000 gold payout. But wait, he spots a very special reward, a brand new teleportation anchor point. He activates it immediately, setting up a fast travel spot right inside the village. This sick network will let his whole faction teleport anywhere. Such a major upgrade. His teammate is totally thrilled, begging to finally head back to the city. But our boy just smirks. He still has one more epic thing to take care of first. Elsewhere, a gamer is losing his mind over a new zone. Trust me, we are staying for the next part. Let's jump right in. The game forums absolutely explode. The Bone Wasteland beta area is finally live. An entire squad of players charges straight in, super confident, dropping right into the monster lair for that sweet loot. But instead of monsters, they find a massive wall of laser cannons pointed directly at their faces. Red targeting beams lock onto the entire raid party and boom, they get absolutely vaporized in a merciless laser storm. Pure panic hits as they realize these cannons never miss. Total wipeout. Meanwhile, the Beast Woman is thanking our boy for building this insanely effective shelter. He is just openly sobbing over the 20,000 gold he dumped into this brand new security system. Checking his system log though, he admits deleting that cannon fodder was completely worth the cash. Base secured. Now he decides it is time to hit the city. Plus, he has to stash 2 shiny new energy cores somewhere safe. So the Beast Women power up the teleportation circle he set up beforehand. A blue flash zaps them straight to the city-state of Hope. Our boy arrives, grinning, expecting a hero's welcome, only to find his home base burning down. You and I are both thinking it, why is his house burning? Once the flames die down, the truth comes out. His subordinate Yuding is bawling, apologizing for totally failing him. She explains she actually caught Ghost Eye and his partner after the prison break, but they used the blackout to escape, torched the place, and left her taking the blame. An old-timer pops up, realizing the citywide blackout happened because our boy stole the power core. Zagu just flashes a sheepish grin. Yep, totally his fault. He immediately comforts the crying Yuding, telling her this whole fiery mess was not her fault. He actually praises her for catching Ghost Eye, completely ignoring the whole escaping and burning the base thing. This crazy, unexpected kindness makes her bawl even harder. Totally overwhelmed, she launches herself right at him for a massive, grateful hug. Suddenly, a horned woman appears, mocking them for using a dragon crystal stone like some cheap battery. Mid-hug, our boy is just confused. Dragon, what now? You mean the energy core? Pay close attention to this lore drop. She explains its real name is the dragon crystal stone forged from the planet's veins, a literal chunk of the world's soul. The biggest stash of these stones, she reveals it is her homeland, the Isle of Mist. It is the legendary home of dragons where these insanely powerful stones were first found and violently fought over. Zagu is drawing a total blank here, but the old-timer, he recognizes that name straight from ancient legends about a kingdom of gods. Right on cue, the system drops a new quest. Head to the Isle of Mist. Good luck getting there. He instantly decides to go asking the crew who is tagging along, and Yuding's hand practically rockets into the air. She will follow him literally anywhere. But the purple-haired mecha girl passes since her titan is still super damaged. She decides to stay back with the bandaged woman to study her mysterious body instead. With everything set, our boy finalizes the travel squad. Yuding is absolutely overjoyed, thinking she is finally scoring some romantic alone time with her senior. But her perfect fantasy shatters the second Zagu, invites Fafna to tag along for the ride. Professor Jang easily convinces Fafna to go since she is literally the only one who can guide them there. Fafna happily agrees to whatever her master wants, completely crushing Yuding's soul. Then the old scientist muscles his way in, demanding to join for research. While Zagu gladly welcomes the extra brain power, Yuding is literally chewing on a handkerchief in pure romantic despair. With the new travel squad assembled, they board a ship setting sail for the Isle of Mist. They wave goodbye to the remaining crew who wish them luck from the freezing snowy shore. As the ship departs, a tiny chibi Yuding sends a wildly tearful farewell to her beloved Zagu. On board, the cat-eared scientist immediately starts cozying up to Zagu, flexing her inventions. She sizes up Fafnir as romantic competition and decides to make the very first move. Zagu suddenly puts the pieces together. She is the exact person who created that metal-eating swarm that attacked Fafnir earlier. This wild revelation leaves Fafnir totally stunned, realizing her new teammate almost had her eaten alive. But the cat girl just gets right in Fafnir's face, basically saying, "We are co-workers now, get over it." Fafnir absolutely accepts the challenge, though vowing to work even harder to win Zagu's ultimate favor. This comeback leaves her rival absolutely fuming and completely speechless. Furious, she grabs Zagu, hating that this dragon is invading her territory. These two immediately start brawling over him, with Fafnir dropping a massive bomb. She wants to have his dragon babies. And just to prove her point, she plants a huge bold kiss right on his cheek. So where does that leave us? With a cat girl in pure rage declaring an all-out kissing war and diving right in. This instantly escalates into a full-on tackle. Personal space, completely optional right now. Zagu is left covered in lipstick, wondering if all this happiness is actually a massive death flag. Fafnir and Yuding just stare absolutely stunned by this brand new level of pure chaos. Let's dive in, because this little love triangle gets brutally interrupted by a massive ship-rocking jolt. A giant sea beast attacks. The old scientist helpfully points out they wandered right into its territory. So Fafnir and her brand new rival instantly team up, blasting the massive creature away with an epic combined attack. Warm up over. The crew quickly realizes these waters are no joke. A map pops up showing their brutal, days-long journey, constantly fighting off wave after wave of sea beasts. And right as they finally get close, a super thick, ominous fog rolls in. Zagu asks Fafnir if they finally made it. Looking absolutely terrified, she nods, confirming they are extremely close, but she flat-out refuses to go any further. Zagu's danger sense starts screaming, and a split second later, a massive energy beam blasts from the mist, barely missing their ship. A booming voice violently calls Fafnir an exile. Furious, she brought outsiders. A massive black dragon emerges, completely dwarfing a smaller silver one. The two dragons face off high in the sky. Yeah, this island is definitely not tourist-friendly. Zagu perfectly reads the room for once quickly, suggesting they maybe just turn around and leave. But the cat girl steps up, totally ready to throw down. She insists they just need to win. Zagu throws his hands up, desperately trying to stop the madness before it starts. He warns the cat girl that jumping in will only make Fafnir's situation 10 times worse. Looking up at the intense dragon-on-dragon stare-down, he strongly suggests they absolutely do not act rashly here. His eyes suddenly lock onto Fafnir's dragon form. He notices she's been heavily mutated by a virus. Trying to de-escalate, he loudly announces they are just here for some research, definitely not a fight. Now pay close attention. The black dragon's eye narrows, not buying a word of it. Right on cue, two horned women materialize in green energy. They coldly inform the crew that their chance to leave peacefully is totally gone. Bam, instant prisoners. This VIP invite leads them straight into a giant cage. They're told to stay put, but Zagu, always the opportunist. He figures, hey, at least they successfully infiltrated the island. He immediately tells Yuding to send her bugs out for some sneaky recon work. Much to her absolute delight, she happily unleashes one of her little babies to scout the area. The mechanical bug zips off into the dark mist. It gets to work, revealing a crazy sky full of floating islands, completely swallowed by endless thick fog. Yuding explains her drones navigate using temperature and smell. Honestly, that is super handy right now. Spotting a giant castle standing clear of the mist, Zagu orders the bug to fly straight in and investigate. So the tiny scout dives from the rooftops for a closer look. Boom, it immediately gets zapped by a ridiculously powerful energy barrier protecting the entire castle. The little guy gets absolutely fried by the electricity, barely pulling back in time. But wait, its heat sensor spots a mysterious round shape through a window. A dragon egg. With the energy barrier finally down, Zagu orders the bug to quietly slip right inside. Once inside, it quickly spots their two horned captors casually walking down a hallway. The little drone trails them right into a massive throne room. There, a hooded leader gets the news. Outsiders have arrived looking for the dragon crystal stone. A guard instantly demands they execute the intruders, screaming that Fafnir is a traitor. But the leader completely shuts that down. They need the king's decision first. Turns out the king is right in the middle of a major revival process, and the whole situation is looking incredibly dire. When suddenly, the leader's eyes snap wide open. They sense an intruder. You and I saw that coming, right? Purple lightning blasts the tiny spy, stomping it into literal scrap metal. Well, that mission ended real fast. Back in the dungeon cell, Yuding screams out as the psychic link to her bug gets violently severed. She quickly explains her scout got totally fried, but not before stealing some key intel. Meanwhile, Fafnir just sits in the corner, looking completely utterly defeated. Yuding reports that the Dragon King is supposedly dead, but is also somehow being revived. which makes absolutely zero sense until she clarifies the truth. Dragons never really die. They reincarnate. They basically just revert back into eggs hatch again and their memories get completely wiped. The old scientist, he is having the absolute time of his life, furiously scribbling notes on this crazy discovery. He then turns and asks Fafnir exactly how old she is. She very politely tells him to mind his own business. Just then, the crew realizes they aren't the only ones locked down here. A chained woman in a cage right above them reveals the king has been missing for a century. That same chained prisoner suddenly spots Fafnir, demanding to know what the hell she is doing back here. But Fafnir just puts a finger to her lips, shushing her. A super ominous glint flashes in her eyes. She grips her chains, smiling a terrifying grin, promising everyone will be free soon. Our boy gets a bad feeling, and honestly, we're right there with him. And right then, "Alright, stick with me, you and I are jumping into pure chaos." Zagu screams to take cover as a giant dragon completely roasts the floating island, bashing their massive crystal shield. Boom! The explosion is absolutely massive, but somehow the barrier actually holds up. Turns out this is a massive civil war, and those attackers, total rebels. One defender instantly screams out for backup, as the entire sky completely swarms with enemies. And look at that. Our chained prisoner is totally free, ready to welcome her rebel squad. Her chains absolutely shatter into energy as she orders a full attack. Meanwhile, down on the snowy continent, the B team is literally just chilling with fruit. Nearby locals walk straight up to a massive keep-out door. Inside the lab, the purple-haired mecha girl is heavily fixated on researching these local cyborgs. She is completely mind-blown by the bandaged woman's crazy, advanced Titan body. Touching its hand, she daydreams about bringing this overpowered tech back home. Boom, suddenly we jump to a bank heist completely surrounded by cops. The lead thief actually threatens the hostages, daring the police to try anything. His masked buddy confirms the gold is ready for the getaway. But get this, the cops get a crazy order to stand down because a rich corporate heir is inside and the company will pay the damages. The lead cop is forced to make his team fall back completely against his will. So the smug thief grabs a terrified little girl to use as a human shield. His genius master plan, just dump the kid somewhere later. What a total class act. The completely powerless cops can only watch these criminals walk away. This poor little girl is absolutely frozen in fear, her eyes silently begging for some hero to step up. Now watch closely, you and I will not believe this. A woman in white literally dives past the police line to shield the kid. This insanely heroic move just pisses off the thief, who aims right at her instead. The aftermath is tragic. The woman was a pianist, but she had to get both arms amputated. Now, stuck with prosthetics, she cries that she will never play music again. One single tear drops down her cheek, an absolute picture of pure heartbreak. Back at the lab, our catgirl scientist gets a massive brain blast, connect the pianist to a mecha titan so she can finally play again. Meanwhile, the bandaged woman hikes deep into a massive frozen cave and finally stops. She knows she hit the jackpot. Right in front of her is the ancient tomb of her body's original owner. She casually jumps on top, deciding to just take a nap and see what happens. Getting cozy, she realizes the sarcophagus is surprisingly comfy for a tomb. Meanwhile, a horned figure chills on a literal mountain of dead bodies. Flashback time. A hooded woman looks absolutely terrified of a giant beastman in his tribe, and she is clearly still traumatized, flashing back to that horrible dark cave. A masked guy with creepy tentacles calls himself a divine messenger, his version of a radiant future, standing on a massive pile of corpses. This memory destroys her. This is the monster who almost wiped out the beastman. You and I know he didn't just vanish forever. Jumping to the present, our new white-haired dude complains about back pain while riding a dragon taxi. His horned companion clears things up. They are heading for the pioneer camp, not the rebels. Then she gets super flirty, bragging about saving his life. Yeah, right. They suddenly start debating dragon reincarnation. He calls it a handy immortality cheat code, but she says wiping your memories is basically just a prettier death. Right on cue, rival dragons swoop in screaming for true eternal life instead. Their silver-haired boss announces that chasing immortality is a literal crime against the heavens. Our white-haired guy claps back instantly, like who exactly made her the queen of the dragons? His companion smugly brags they follow a lord prophet who controls their fate. The real issue: 0 dragon eggs have hatched in over 100 years. The silver-haired lady and her sidekick look super stressed, realizing they must take this crazy gamble. They finally land at these super creepy, crumbling ruins. The rookies are presented to this mysterious robed leader. Then the leader turns around. Boom. It is the masked psycho prophet from the flashback. The cyborg guy is fanboying hard, calling the prophet an angel who brings a radiant future. Meanwhile, our white-haired dude is having a tiny panic attack right in the corner of the frame. The cyborg leans in, whispering that this angel totally looks like those freaky monsters from before. Remembering when Seu bit that thing and caused the whole Titan devolution potion mess, yeah, he stubbornly insists those ugly creatures have zero connection to his perfect prophet. Bless his completely clueless heart. The prophet instantly leans in. Are you questioning me? The vibe freezes instantly. He stammers no to keep his head attached. Trust me, you and I gotta see what happens next. Stick with me here. The prophet flashes those glowing red eyes, sensing a seriously bad aura. Yeah, that is never a good sign. His horned squad is ready for murder, asking if they should just end him, but the prophet waves them off. These newcomers are just pitiful, sad fools, not worth the sweat. Cue the classic villain monologue. He starts ranting about how completely insignificant they are in the grand scheme. Bro literally gives a history lesson. Dinosaurs getting wiped out by meteors, just part of some god's master plan. Apparently, humanity only hit the top of the food chain through a divine power-up, and naturally, they proceeded to trash the entire planet. So this god decided to buff up other creatures to fix the balance. Classic move. This sparked a whole wave of insanely powerful new species stepping up to crush humanity. But the arrogant demon tribe, his horned sidekick included, they absolutely refused to bow down. Meanwhile, the dragons isolated themselves on floating islands. They basically started eating each other, triggered an extinction crisis, and their eggs completely stopped hatching. Big oops. The prophet finally ends his TED Talk, proudly declaring his followers are the chosen ones completely blessed by God. Our boy immediately connects the dots. This god sounds exactly like those creepy angel creatures. Now pay attention, you are going to love this. Our boy pokes the bear straight up, asking if this god sides with mutants over humans. The horned lackey just scoffs. To them, humans are not even worth the dirt. So our guy goes full troll mode. He calls their god weak for failing to conquer a single island. The horned follower goes absolutely ballistic. How dare he? But another horned woman randomly chimes in. She totally agrees their god needs to get off his lazy throne and actually help them. The prophet just gives this slow, super creepy laugh, then drops the ultimate edgy villain line, you know absolutely nothing. His loyalist jumps right into a rant. The dragons should have conquered the world ages ago. She totally blames the old king and his isolation rules for their massive downfall. She marches right up to Fafnir, getting dead in her face, trying to recruit her back since the royal line is basically a giant failure. Fafnir is visibly sweating this intense choice. Her eyes show pure conflict. Just then, our boy steps up, placing a protective hand on her shoulder. He whispers the plan, just play along and see what this crazy cult is actually plotting. Taking the hint, Fafnir announces she will rejoin them. The horned woman is totally thrilled, pulling her into a massive hug and welcoming her home. Acting level 100. With that settled, the prophet announces a special ritual for their brand new convert. Yeah, that sounds totally safe, right? Boom, suddenly we jump to a human base that is literally blowing up. Inside, two numbered test subjects are squaring off. Fire versus ice. The fire user just dumps an absolutely massive inferno straight down onto his opponent. You and I love a classic elemental showdown, right? The ice user slams straight into a massive pillar of fire. Watching from the catwalk above is a scientist who looks way too chill about this. She smirks, confirming these test subjects have completely mastered their powers. This new method of extracting raw energy from cores is totally working. With a super sinister glint, she mutters that only the dragons know the true purpose of these cores. Then she stares at a man floating inside a stasis tube, the legendary treasure of the dragons. Her master plan cracked that secret so her engineered humans can finally rival the dragons. Meanwhile, Fafnir wakes up with a massive stretch, clueless about all this drama. Cut to a snowy plain. A tribal warrior with face paint drops into a fierce fighting stance. She perfectly blocks a nasty ice blade from a literal combat cyborg, then completely shatters the weapon with one insanely powerful kick. Her eyes start glowing with intense red energy. Time to stop holding back. She activates full beastification, popping out some serious claws and leaps right at the cyborg for the absolute finishing blow. But the robot systems detect the damage instantly. Defense protocol triggers, it floods the wound with biogel and kicks off instant self-repair. And just like that, back to perfect condition. Absolutely broken. The cyborg just casually calls the whole thing off. Experiment over. It actually tells the giant beast woman great work for the hardcore sparring session. She then turns to the purple-haired mecha girl and asks for the final test results. Our purple-haired mecha genius is absolutely thrilled. The repair speed of the cyborg is way faster than before. The giant beast woman tells her she definitely earned a really good rest. But when the mecha girl asks about returning to the city state of hope, the beast woman is just confused. Cue the pure deadpan realization. Our tech genius completely forgot that the main character never actually told her how to get back home. Absolute peak anime logic planning right there. She grabs a flying disc, zipping across the frozen waste toward the massive Titan tribe base. Trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens next. Let us jump right in. Inside, the mecha titans and the local tribe are actually getting along great. With everything finally running smoothly, she decides it is time to head back and check on her own city. But then boom, a massive red alert screen pops up, unidentified flying object approaching. With the protective snowstorm gone, a massive insect-like battleship drops from the sky, and on a nearby rooftop, some edgy new villain, calling himself the Iron Lord, vows to blast the entire place into absolute rubble. Zero hesitation. The ship immediately rains a massive volley of missiles straight down on the base. Our mecha girl snaps right into action, screaming for the emergency defense systems to come online. Huge energy shields flare to life, just barely holding back the absolute fiery onslaught. Explosions rock the barrier, while the Iron Lord just cackles, clearly having the time of his life. A fierce brown-haired commander rallies her own squad of mecha pilots to join the brawl. Meanwhile, our purple-haired girl dodges through the pure chaos, suddenly spotting a very familiar enemy up in the sky. Staring down an absolute swarm of enemy mechs, this commander casually calls it live combat practice for her troops. She orders her squad to attack in waves. Just keep blasting the enemy defenses to pieces. Watch closely right here. The Iron Lord's ship unloads a full-blown missile storm, slamming the energy shield in a massive fireball. The barrier instantly starts cracking under the insane pressure. Our mecha girl realizes in a panic their defenses are about to completely collapse, so she and her squad dive straight in, powering up every single defense system they have left. But the problem? She is already pushing her own body to its absolute breaking point. Meanwhile, over at the city-state of Hope, two hooded figures approach the late-night guards. And guess what? The guards are literally zombies just finishing their shift. Because of course they are. After a quick little handoff, the hooded duo just strolls right into the base. Surprise, they are a pair of assassins looking for some serious trouble. A quick flashback shows them scheming, deciding to use the city's total chaos to their advantage. But this Ghost Eye guy, he has zero intention of just running away. Instead, he plans to hide out and wait for the perfect moment to strike. All that time pretending to be part of the zombie horde is finally paying off. He knows the real leaders are gone, leaving the entire place completely exposed. His partner totally agrees this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Snapping back to the present, Ghost Eye swears to wipe out every single monster in the city. The massive blast doors slide open before him, revealing a whole squad of female fighters absolutely ready to throw down. Cutting back over to Fafnir, she gets the news her baptism is starting right now. And she looks absolutely utterly horrified. You saw that right. Our boy immediately asks what this baptism involves, because it honestly sounds like a massive problem. The prophet happily confirms it is a god gene implant. Yeah, just a fancy term for a horrifying infection, confirming his absolute worst fears. They are trying to mutate Fafnir into one of those gross dragons. So he desperately tries to stall for time, awkwardly suggesting they should all prep a little bit before the big ritual. He even asks for a nice place to rest, playing the whole "we are new here" card as hard as humanly possible. The prophet's elegant response, a giant, gross, fleshy tentacle straight to the face. So yeah, I guess that is a hard no on the nap. Our guy instantly summons his own energy armor, blocking the strike just in time. The prophet casually notes that, well, negotiations have officially broken down. You think he instantly goes full monster mode, screaming that they are stubborn heathens for refusing his very generous offer of forced body horror. Boom, a massive explosion totally rocks the room as their raw powers collide head-on. Not backing down for a second, our boy charges up a giant energy sphere to counterattack. He screams at Fafnir to stay far away from those weird, fleshy growths. Honestly, that is just excellent life advice in general. The prophet gets deeply offended, insisting his gross tentacle form is actually a divine gift from his god, and right on cue, Fafnir's old friend leaps in, attacking our boy from above. But Fafnir is way faster. She intercepts the blade with her own armored gauntlet, declaring this opponent is hers. Talk about making your allegiance crystal clear. Her former ally Choya is absolutely furious. She accuses Fafnir of betraying the dragon tribe all over again. Fafnir just aggressively powers up. She looks right back and declares Choya's crew are the real traitors here. With that, it is on, an all-out aerial brawl with winged warriors violently clashing straight across the sky. Down on the ground, the horned commander orders her troops to seize them all. She is completely done with this ridiculous charade. The commander's troops instantly dive in, ready to follow orders. Their main target, a brand new combatant rocking some seriously impressive braids. She just smirks, casually announcing she has been holding back for a while now. Then she unleashes a massive swarm of glowing green bugs, because yeah, apparently that is a thing now. Her little bug pets immediately overwhelm the winged fighters who totally were not expecting this. But Choya, she literally just shrugs off a direct hit. Trust me, we are out of time. A gross, fleshy parasite literally stitches her wounds back together. Super hygienic. Stick with me here. Fafnir is staring in absolute horror at this so-called gift, while Choya gloats about their god's insane healing power. She actually tries selling Fafnir on this nasty body horror upgrade. What an amazing friend, right? Meanwhile, the enemy forces are absolutely shredding the bug swarm, And yeah, the bug summoner is beyond furious, watching her metal-eating beetles get wrecked. Yisha realizes that mutant virus makes them basically immortal. Talk about massive trouble. The prophet goes full monster preacher here, calling him a pathetic ant, and telling Yisha to give up his totally useless struggle. He demands he accept the divine infection. But suddenly, bam, a blade slices completely through the prophet's fleshy tentacle. Still, the freak manages to grab Yisha, making Fafnir scream out his name. Now watch closely, Fafnir finally goes full dragon mode, blasting the entire enemy squad with a crazy energy spike volley. Yisha is stuck in this green energy field, begging her to run. But Fafnir, no way she is leaving. She blocks Choya's attack for an epic one-on-one clash. Fafnir and Choya instantly lock into an absolute dragon dogfight across the dark night sky. Down below, the prophet's troops actually combine their powers into one insanely massive elemental strike. Boom, flashback time. Fafnir arrives at this insanely creepy castle, asking if she is finally welcome there. The welcome committee drops the act they need her blood to wake their king. Yisha pieces it together fast, asking if this king is that weird egg they saw before. The robed guy explains their entire tribe is infected with a disgusting virus, and their king has literally been asleep for 100 straight years, all while his people rot from the inside out. Absolutely stellar leadership. You and I just witnessed a crazy twist. Only exiled Fafnir has the pure blood to wake him, since everyone else is completely corrupted.